It's time for High School Football, presented by TISD and Cox Communications of Tyler. Brought to you by Dairy Queen and Supercuts. Also brought to you by these sponsors. Get ready, high school football is just ahead.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let go.
The new DQ Latte frozen blended coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
Men, I think our racing team needs to reflect our Supercut sponsorship. So, make some changes. First off, we're going to go to clear helmets so racing fans can see your fine Supercut hair.
Those are made out of glass.
Y'all be careful. Second, uniform change.
How are we supposed to drive? There's no armholes.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but we're working on that.
And I'm out of here.
Fellas,
You're out of your mind. That's not
where you going?
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Can you drive a stick?
In the game of life, there are no timeouts, only time wasted. The path you choose now determines your future. But where can you go to find a sense of purpose? There is a place where team spirit steps off the field and into the classroom, where no victory goes unnoticed, and there's no such thing as wasted time. That place is Tyler Junior College, living life in color, never black and white. Come to Tyler Junior College. We're changing the game. We're changing lives.
Captains are meeting at midfield. Lee has played here twice in their history, lost to Lake Highlands in 91, 31-30, and in 93 lost here 43-10, but that was against Lake Highlands and not Berkner. The Austin chapter of officials, Brian Ernest is the referee. Steve Rhodes on the sidelines with us as they go through the traditional handshakes and now the coin flip.
Okay. Lee, you're the visitor. You called the toss. You won the toss, and you elected to receive, correct? You elected to kick to the scoreboard, correct? Okay, if you can please step around that way.
All right, that's all we needed. Robert E. Lee has won the toss, elected to get that explosive offense on the field immediately. And Berkner in their green jerseys, white numbers, and white pants. Lee with their almost all-white uniforms with the red and black trim and the red numbers with black trim, the red helmets. And coming up next, Class 5A Division I, Region 2 semifinals, Robert E. Lee and Berkner. Next on AM 600, News Talk 600, KTBB.
To see this sign on your house, put this sign out front. Century 21 Advantage. Call or visit our website.
The daily download on Fuse. It's a countdown and free online music. But it's a long day if you're waiting for dial-up. Get Cox high-speed internet and go to Cox.net. Enter the Get Your Daily Download sweepstakes. Win a trip backstage with the host at Fuse's New York studio, or you could win a TV PC package. Activate Cox high-speed internet service and you'll get a cool Fuse watch. The Daily Download on Fuse, weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Download your favorite songs in seconds with Cox high-speed internet. Go to Cox.net and order today.
Car shopping can be stressful. With all the clutter out there, it's hard to tell what to buy. But at Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center, we believe that the simplest way is the best way. So we offer a large selection of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, priced to sell with no hassles. Each vehicle has been through a 20-point inspection for quality assurance. You can shop in comfort under the awnings and check out our newly expanded lot with more inventory than ever before. Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center on the corner of Glenwood and Vine and Tyler.
The winner of this game gets the Woodlands around Ralph McNeil next week in Waco, but one has to advance and one will put up the pads in some players' careers forever. And the Lee Red Raiders are trying to make sure they make their third consecutive trip at least to the quarterfinals, where they last year ended their season at Texas Stadium to the Woodlands. 2 years ago, the magical semifinal game where they lost to Midland High School. Real quickly, Steve Rhodes on the sidelines, Randy Johnson and Craig Ainsworth, your final thoughts of this game quickly as we hit this the beginning. Lee will get it first, and they have to try to get off to a nice start. Randy?
Fast start is necessary tonight. You keep the fans out of the game that way. We'll see if the first offensive possession, they can get down and get points on the board.
Yeah, Lee needs to play a clean game and do away with all the penalties and have a good start and finish.
Well, we'll find out about this Berkner defense, something, Steve, that his coach Jim Ledford and Richardson Berkner was very concerned about this Lee offense.
Yeah, David, I think if they'll duplicate what they did last week, we'll have the same result.
Robert E. Lee gets the ball first, so let me set you your offense. Josh Hill, the quarterback. 5'10", 172-pound senior, has thrown for almost 2,600 yards in his career. Last week had the biggest play maybe of the game, the 77-yard run that set up the go-ahead touchdown. Up front, Saron Black, Sam Banks, Blake Larman, Brian Culp, and Stephen Christian starting in place of Matt Holland at right tackle. John Giles, the tight end. Berkner set to kick off. It is a little pooch kick towards the sideline, and Lee will let that thing go out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Nice job by Peyton Price to let that thing go free. Lee's receivers, Walter Simpson, Tony Bush coming off what was a semi-concussion. It's a semi-concussion when it doesn't happen to you, but he should start tonight. Peyton Price, the fullback, with 1,030 yards in total offense, 199 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, 831 yards on the ground, 7 touchdowns. And Tyrone Ross now approaching nearly 5,000 career total offensive yards with 4,963 of the 5'8", 186-pound senior who's rushed for 1,188 yards this year, 18 touchdowns on the ground and 1 via the pass. Also, look for Jason Williams quite a bit. He didn't get much time last week against Garland because of the way that game went. The kickoff goes out of bounds, and Berkner will kick again from their 35-yard line. Kicking is Corey Long. Tony Bush, number 3, and his good buddy, number 4, Tyrone Ross, are back deep with Price and Williams, the upbacks for Robert E. Lee. Berkner kicking from the south end of the end zone towards the scoreboard. And a very, very electric crowd tonight for both teams. Here's Long as a pooch kick this time, and Brad Royal will pick it up at the 35-40, bounces outside, gets around the corner, midfield, and that's where Lee will take over at around midfield at the 49-yard line. For Berkner up front defensively. Up front, it's Ugo Chinasi, big defensive tackle Trey Bryant, 6'2", 320. LaQuincy Williams, 6'2", 260, the tackle, and Jason Lamb, a 6'5", senior at defensive end. Linebackers are Darren McClure and Chad Kugler on the outside, Jared Lund in the middle. Cornerbacks are Ryan Hammonds and Kevin Cole. D. Smith and Jordan Pettit are the safeties. This secondary for Berkner has picked off an unbelievable 20 passes. Lee starts right away. T.Y. bounces outside, nowhere to go, and will get no yards out of the play. Great job on the perimeter that time from the Berkner defense.
Yeah. Chinasi, the defensive end, strung the play out nicely, and he had help on the backside from Jason Lamb. The other defensive end actually set in a tech slot, is there to wrap up on T.Y. on the initial carry of the evening.
Jim Ledford, the head coach at Berkner, said his defense needed something big to happen early to make sure that they slow down the momentum of Lee's offense, which is averaging, as you know, a lot of points, 37.6 points a game. It's second down and 10. Lee at the 49, their own 49. Offset I. Up the middle, T.Y. runs into big Trey Bryant, the defensive tackle, 6'2", 320. When he's active, he's amazing. And that knocked T.Y. down for a loss of a yard, and the fullback on a little run right up the gut.
Bryant just blows through the block of Blake Larman, and Sam Banks playing right over the nose of the center, and now the crowd is really getting into the game, David.
It sounds like it's an all-Berkner crowd. There's a very nice large contingent from Tyler for Robert E. Lee as they face a 3rd and 11, and Trey Bryant, who is already down to 2 schools, Baylor and Mississippi State, makes a big play on Sam Banks right there. 3rd and 11. T.Y. offset I. Tony Bush to the near side, the tight end this way, and Josh will throw. Steps up in the pocket, now pressured. Gets away. Throws to T.Y. Caught for about 2 or 3 yards, and that is it. And what a tremendous start for the Berkner defense. T.Y. for nothing, a loss of a yard and a gain of 2, maybe 3 on the short pass. The linebacker, Jared Lunn, makes the stop, and Josh Hill will punt.
Well, Josh had to roll out of the pocket as the pressure caved in the pocket, and he rolled back to the far side of the field and found his safety valve, Tyrone Ross, but he's not able to get away from the linebacker Lund, who's right there on top of him.
Not very often does this Lee team get shut down early in the game. It was a matter of a lot of patience, of course, against Garland last week in the 28-10 win. Snap comes from Giles. Josh Hill gets off the punt. Very nice punt, turns it over. William, or Johnson, who's also the quarterback, will field it inside his 10, and he has nowhere to go, tries to go back the other way, and knocked down by Lance Heap into Carrion Cuba inside the 5-yard line. Great coverage by Robert E. Lee on the end. That's Nick Mitchell instead, and what a great punt from Josh Hill. Up front now for the Berkner Rams, the quarterback Justin Johnson has run for 1,083 yards this year, and he took over about the 3rd game of the season. His running backs are Brandon Pottas and Zach Mamet. Justin Jackson, Josh Moss, the receiver. Up front, Alex Uvete, Josh Laribas, Doug Beach, Chris Woodyard, Sammy Hoskovogic, and also Kyle Penny. They run here. Little deep pitch in the backfield, and they almost knocked him down in the end zone. He gets back for a couple of 3 out to the 5. Nice job by initially Jason Stripling, but a gain of a yard or 2 that time, and that was a very dangerous play to Chris Knox, who's also in at running back.
Well, they're able to get outside, and Lee is there to meet him right at the goal line, as you mentioned, but cutting back inside very alertly is Knox to break through for a short gain.
Up front for Lee, you have Sherfield and Mumphrey, the defensive ends, Jacoby McKenzie, the tackle, linebackers, Skates, DeHaven, Van Zandt, and Stripling, who's the bandit. Safeties are Mitchell and Cuba, corners are Johnson and Nicholson. 2nd down and 9, up the middle, the fullback stuck by Cole Skates and Warren DeHaven. A short gain out to about the 7-yard line. As they went to the fullback, Justin Jackson, he might have got a yard.
Well, bottling up the middle as well is McKenzie. There from his 2-tech position, just pinched inside and got by the center and wrapped up the fullback at his ankles, and he gets great help from 4 or 5 other white-shirted Red Raider defenders.
Berkner had a big stop defensively when Lee had great field position. Lee could get great field position again if they can come up with a 3rd down stop here, and this defense is starting to click very well. Remember the second half, they dominated Garland. 3-man front for Lee, 1 setback behind Johnson. Little swing pass, not much room to go because Cole Skates and basically anyone else in a red and white uniform just eat that thing alive for no gain. Cole Skates, Lance Heap, Takarian Cuba, Dominique Van Zandt, and anybody else you want to think of.
Well, they're not fooling Robert E. Lee, and the speed difference, at least from Lee's perspective on the defensive side, really helped that drive just go nowhere whatsoever.
7:58 to go in the first quarter. No score. Lee goes 3 and out, and their defense smothers Berkner. And remember the great punt and the lousy return against Berkner as Lee's coverage team was everywhere. Back to punt. It's Johnson again, who's also the quarterback. Lee looks like they're going to bring pressure. Low snap. He gets it off, and line drive punt that will hit at the Berkner 35, 40, 45 and out near midfield. A very good roll. But Lee will get the ball for the 2nd time around midfield. They went with the 1 return man that time. They had been going to 2, but I think Lee feels like they might be able to get pressure. Berkner's had a punt blocked already. That's a 43-yard punt by Corey Long. Or check that, that's Johnson. and Robert E. Lee with great field position at the Berkner 47-yard line. They went 3 and out. Berkner goes 3 and out, and Lee with the ball again.
Just like last week, Lee has an advantage now with possession on the field and actual their side of the ball. They're now in Berkner territory as they take over here.
The center is Blake Larman. Tight end far side is Fleet. Lee play action with Josh. Now wants to go deep, and Tony Bush, or is it Peyton Price? Oh, I tell you what, initially he had Bush open. They were trying to run that fade pattern down the sideline to Peyton Price. 2 receivers as Tony then broke off his pattern. Tony Bush had a step on the cornerback. It's 2nd down and 10.
Well, the play was defended very nicely on the near side of the field, too, by the Berkner defense. Number 19 out there for Berkner did a great job of picking up the coverage that would be impeded to safety, and he came in and found Peyton Price at the end of the play.
Peyton had a step on the receiver, and so too again did Tony Bush, but the pass kind of in between the two of them. 2nd down, 10. Offset eye. Peyton Price up the middle, trips over an offensive lineman, gets a couple of yards to the 45, and that time I think he may have found the big feet of Saron Black or Sam Banks, and Peyton had a little room to run had he broken that tackle or the foot trip up and a gain of a couple yards down inside the 45. And here's another early 3rd down. Jason Williams checks in for Robert E. Lee on a 3rd down and 8 at the Berkner 44.5-yard line. And here's a big play. They'll stack Ross and Price on the wing. Jason Williams, the lone setback. Tight end near side. Josh wants to throw. Steps up, sideline, Walter Simpson. What a great throw. Tremendous protection up front, and Walter Simpson runs a great out pattern and a big 1st down to the 31-yard line, gain of 15 yards.
Just simply a great route run by Walter Simpson. He takes off, makes his cut on the cornerback and fools him and has him beaten by 3 yards, and the pass is a needle threading right to Walter Simpson for the completion.
Josh Hill again had plenty of time to step up. A great block on the big boy, Trey Bryant, up front. And a gain of 15. Lee at the 31 of Berkner. Early 1st quarter. No score. 2nd possession. Tight end near side is Giles. They run Jason Williams off left tackle, breaks a tackle, got about 7 or 8. Looked like there might have been movement, but I think what it was is Lee was in motion and Berkner maybe jumped, and Jason Williams pounds down inside the 25 to the 23. D. Smith on the tackle for Berkner.
He gets a great block on the left side, of course, from Saron Black and Sam Banks, opening a nice hole. Cuts back inside, and D. Smith is there to make the tackle along with Chad Kugler, the linebacker.
When they need some big yards, Black and Banks, of course, the guard and tackle returning starters. This is Larman, the center on this series. Culp and Stephen Christian, his first start at right tackle. Robert E. Lee, 2nd and short. Williams outside, nowhere to go, and tracked down for a loss of a couple. They went backwards that time as a LaQuincy Williams, the defensive tackle, on a 2nd down and a yard. They tried to go outside and lost 5. I don't think he got a very good spot. But now it's instead of 3rd down and short, it is 3rd down and 6.
Just beating through the block up front of Brian Culp. LaQuincy Williams just knives through and gets to Williams and wraps him up at his ankles for a big loss. And now Lee will have another important 3rd down upcoming day.
They were kind of in control of that series because it was 2nd down and 2, so they went for the big play. And great penetration so far early by the Berkner tackles, Bryant and Williams. They are a handful. Timeout Lee. 5:32 to go, 1st quarter. No score. Back in 30 seconds on News Talk 600 KTBB.
For the best treats and eats and hottest winning in Texas, you gotta go to DQ. Only DQ's got the classic 4-piece all-white chicken strip country basket served with fries, Texas toast, and the best green gravy anywhere for just $3.99. Only DQ's got a cool creamy banana split made with DQ soft serve for $1.99. And only DQ's got the peel away giveaway game where you can win food, treat prizes, or your chance to win a brand new Dodge Ram 1500 Lone Star Edition pickup.
Man, are we going to take every lap full speed?
Yeah!
Are we going to trade paint without fear?
Yeah!
Are we going to brush our hair 100 times a day and condition after every shampoo and choose the right hair color to match our skin tone? Tim?
Terry, I'm an autumn.
I'm a spring. Now let's go out there and win one!
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
I'm Aura Taylor, and I've been with TISD for more than 3 decades, and you're watching TISD Football on Cox Communications.
Back at Wildcat Ram Stadium in Richardson, Texas. 3rd down and about 6 for Lee. at the Berkner 27-yard line. They need just inside the 22. Simpson and Bush will go far side. Giles is the H-back on the same side. The tight end is Fleet. They wait for the full minute. The officials again from the Austin chapter. And after the full minute, they will give Lee a chance to set it up. I like the fact that they give us the full minute. 3rd and 6. Josh Hill back to throw, looks left, now has to scramble, now in trouble, gets away from Williams, 30, and will be knocked down near that same line of scrimmage. And I tell you what, he initially tried to look and couldn't find somebody, pulled it down. D. Smith was there, and so again was big number 99, LaQuincy Williams, and a no gain in the play, and it brings up a very critical 4th and 6 for Lee here.
Well, it looked like he was looking downfield for Walter Simpson, who was back over the middle of the field, but he was nicely covered by number 11, LaDarren Goodson, who picked him up. And
this
just a
Berkner
nice
team
coverage.
defensively has much more speed, I think, than maybe a lot of people thought they would. They forced, as I mentioned, 20 interceptions. They're a +10 in turnovers, and they are getting some penetration. Lee, though, with a very nice drive until that reverse went for negative yardage. 4th and 6, Lee will go for it. Josh will throw. Steps up in the pocket, now in trouble, and he will be sacked for a big loss at the 40. Chad Kugler, who started the year as the quarterback, the senior, throws Josh Hill for a loss of 12 on the play, and Berkner's defense, with Lee at the midfield marker twice, has knocked him down, and Lee's offense now off the field. Here come the Red Raiders on defense.
Well, they're blitzing through, and on that play, just ran right through the guard and tackle block, and he gets to the quarterback. Hill, he's just trying to sprint to the far side of the field and ropes him down. Loss
of 10 on the play. Kugler again was the quarterback to start the year. Then he contracted mono, and now he's the linebacker because he can't get the job back from Johnson. Berkner with great field position at their 38. Little swing pass outside. This is Knox, gets around the corner, and he got about 5 yards. They're running that bubble screen. Quet Nicholson comes up and makes a shoestring tackle, but a gain of 5. And early on, Berkner trying to show the fact that they're not afraid to throw the football.
Well, they do swing it out nicely, and picking up the play, too, is Van Zandt as he comes over and helps out on the tackle.
Lee again, 3-man front. At times, they could go to a 4-man front because of the bone. 2nd down and 5, Berkner at their 44-yard line. The inverted bone, like Nacogdoches used to run. They run the fullback up the middle. No, he pitches it wide, and Knox, there's a clip, there's a flag. He got around the corner. They do not call the clip. There is a penalty flag, and what could be procedure, we will now have to check the flag, but Takarian Cuba makes the stop. But it looked like Jason Stripling got blocked in the back, and it's an illegal shift. They call the shift. It brings back a 1st down gain, but I tell you what, it looked like Jason Stripling got clearly blocked in the back, and it's going to be 2nd down and long.
As he came up to make the tackle on Knox, he did get hit from behind, but the flag came at the point of the snap, and it's number 86, Kyle Penny, the tight end, that shifted over a little bit early, causing the infraction against Berkner.
Berkner again had a 1st down and a gain of about 10 as Knox turned the corner. He turned the corner because, again, Jason Stripling was there to make the tackle, and he got hit right in the back, and they will mark off 5 yards from the line of scrimmage and bring up 2nd down and what looks like almost 9 or 10 yards on the play. Knox, by the way, this year, 239 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. He's also thrown a pass. Their leading ground gainer, the quarterback, Johnson, and as he just proved a minute ago, he's not afraid to pitch that thing at any moment. He's fearless, and Lee might be able to come up, they think, with some turnovers if they can hit him while he's pitching on the loose. They just hope he doesn't get loose. 4:39 to go 1st quarter. 5-yard penalty for illegal shift. And now Berkner brings a player on at the last second. That is Kyle Penny. Off, unbalanced line. Run the option. Johnson pitches wide to Knox. Tries to turn the corner, and he got hit hard. Somebody blows him up. Cordero Mumphrey was there for Robert E. Lee along with Takarian Cuba. And Dominique Van Zandt got maybe 2.
Well, he just takes off the right side, and the quarterback makes a nice pitch. And just around the corner, there's 4 white shirts to meet him, and Takarian was the last one to put a nice hit on top of him to knock him down.
In team run the wishbone, yeah, they can bust a play every once in a while, but teams that run the wishbone as well, if you get penetration, they could turn it over quite a bit. Wide receiver far side, tight end to the near side, inverted bone on 3rd and 8. Johnson wants to throw a fade pattern, pass dropped. and broken up because Quet Nicholson was about to give you an East Texas welcome to the fullback Brandon Pottis, and Berkner goes 3 and out, and Lee's defense does their job yet again.
With the proverbial footsteps coming at Pottis, he gets the ball in his fingertips on his wickets, and he's toppled from behind, or actually up from the side by Quet Nicholson, and a nice defensive stand for the Red Raiders.
Back to field the punt, Tony Bush, the last punt, 43 yards by Johnson, who's also the quarterback. And he will drop back inside his 30. The deep snapper, they've had problems, by the way. Kugler is punting from their 41. Lee looks like they're going to bring pressure, and they do. He gets it off. Line drive punt that Bush will field at his 20. At the 25, looks for a block, gets 125. Down close to the 30, 35, near the 40. And here's a late hit at the end of the play. A player from Robert E. Lee was hit from behind after the play was over. Ricky Sherfield got hit from the backside as the play ended. A 43-yard punt by Kugler, an 18-yard nifty return from Tony Bush, and also what looked like a 15-yard late hit after the play ended, which will give Robert E. Lee the ball at Berkner's 47-yard line again.
Well, they're starting over in Berkner territory as they did on the last possession, and the first one was near midfield, and Lee needs to capitalize now on this great field position that they're getting, David.
So Tony Bush catches the punt, got a nice block on the outside and took advantage of it. There's a very, very vocal Berkner crowd here at Wildcat Ram Stadium. Andrew Bailey will take over the series here at center as he and Lorman continue to rotate. Lee now has had the ball at their 49, at the Berkner 48, and now at the 46. The problem, though, so far, no score. 3:48 to go in the first quarter. Walter Simpson, far side, split backs behind Josh Hill. Giles is the tight end. Left hash mark. Up the middle, Peyton Price gets 2 or 3, 4, 5, 10. Here he goes again. Peyton Price, touchdown. Touchdown, Peyton Price, 46 yards. He does it again. What a great block inside from Banks, Larman, Colpin, Black in the seal.
They open the nice hole and punch back on the defensive tackle up front, and Bryant and just knock him out of the way. And cutting back inside and finding the hole, nifty, is Peyton Price. And boy, he's taking it to the house again, David, for 6.
He has the longest runs for a fullback I've ever seen at the high school level. He has now scored 11 touchdowns, 46 yards, and he just went right up the gut. And the guys up front just got in the way of everybody they needed to get away of. A middle linebacker missed the tackle, and Peyton Price outruns the secondary like he did last week against Garland. Extra point skate is good, 3:40 to go. Robert E. Lee, 7. Berkner, nothing, back in 60 seconds on KTBB.
Know what I like about Texas? There ain't no place that I'd rather be. We got a much nicer pace, family has its place, and you can still find a wide open space. Dairy Queen's what I like about Texas. From the blizzard to the dude, man, I know. From the cities out to the ranches, there's a DQ wherever I go. DQ, that's what I like about Texas.
Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Represent your team like never before. On the field, on the court, it's all in our store. The spirit of your team, the season of your dreams. Looking for the victory, we've got what you need. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics.
Here's a question. If you needed your insurance, who would you call? Not the name of the company, but the name of the person. You've got 2 seconds. Coming up blank, you may want to consider Allstate. You'd have a local agent you can count on, a licensed professional whose name you know, not just a number. You deserve a relationship with a real person.
For all your insurance needs, call the McIntyre Insurance Agency in the Albertson Shopping Center.
3:40 to go in the first quarter. Robert E. Lee, great field position. Their first 2 drives end 3 and out. Actually, the second one they picked up the first down, but it doesn't take long for them to put points on the board. And Peyton Price, 46 yards, touchdown, extra point skate, 7-0 lead.
One play, 46 yards in 8 seconds. Just like last week, that was a 55-yarder in 8 seconds. He did it this time in 8 seconds from 46.
What is amazing to me about Peyton Price, Steve Rhodes, is when he does split that initial front seven, he is gone.
Yeah, his speed, you look at him, watch him practice and go through warm-ups, he doesn't look that fast, but when he gets in the open field like that, he can flat scat.
And as we always talk about with him, he is excited about the possibility of one day going to medical school. He did visit SMU a couple of weeks ago. It was not an official visit, but they did talk to him. And unless I'm wrong, I know SMU's won a couple of games in a row, but why they would not offer him now is beyond me. 7-0. But there's a lot of kids on this lead team that will be playing Division I football or Division I AA football before it's said and done. And the deeper they go in the postseason, the more they'll take care of that kind of business. Right now, they're worried about the green and white Rams of Berkner. Set to kick off is Micah Johnson. Left-footed kicker approaches at the 40, very high, very deep, and this is Johnson at about the 4. At the 10, great coverage, forced outside, breaks a tackle, out to the 20-yard line. He was one step away from getting through that massive humanity. And a return of 17 yards out to the Berkner 20-yard line. The lead defense has had a nice couple of stops early in this game, and they have been playing at the top of their level now since that really midway through the second quarter against Garland. Justin Simmons has checked in at one of the defensive end positions, at least for right now. Nope. It is still Sherfield and Cordero Mumphrey and Ricky Sherfield in, still at the defensive end positions. Here's the option. Johnson pitches wide. It's loose. And he got it back. That's what I was talking about, Randy. You're going to get penetration, and somebody got in his face in a hurry.
It looked like Sherfield. He dove in from his left defensive end position and was right in the face of Justin Johnson, and he had to pitch the ball a little bit early to Knox, and it went off the fingertips off the back, and fortunately for Berkner, they fell on.
Man, Johnson, again, is a magician with that pitch, but when you got somebody in your face, and then the other guys, the running backs also see penetration, they sometimes take their eyes off the football, and that's what happened there. And they got a fortunate bounce to get the recovery. Second down, 13, Berkner at their 17-yard line. They run the option wide. He pitches it wide. This is Mamet, gets around the corner. 25, look at that speed, and knocked out of bounds. And here comes a flag at the end of the play. And he turned the corner on a very fast lead defense and picked up 18 plus 15 more on the late hit out of bounds. And just like that, Berkner gets a first down, and they're in midfield.
Well, they're going to go past right at midfield after the flag comes out because it's a personal foul, late hit along the sideline, and the umpire came up and threw the flag against Robert E. Lee. Now, that's the first real big play of the game for Berkner in their third possession, and that's their first down of the game.
That time they ran a little bit of a different, again, you can run so many different options off that wishbone. You got the fullback, and they got to go inverted bone. But have things changed for Lee defensively? Then when they used to go against the bone of Rico Harris and Nacogdoches, they are so much better and so much faster. First and 10, Berkner at midfield. That's a 33-yard pickup. They run the quarterback option. He pitches it wide. Knox tries to turn the corner, gets about 4 or 5. Got around the tackle of Micah Johnson. Mumphrey was there to make the stop along with Sherfield again, and that time again they do show some pretty good speed. Knox picks up 4.
They get outside, and Josh Moss is outside blocking on Micah Johnson, and Micah does a great job of fighting him off and getting back to help with the tackle.
Second down and 6. Berkner now with 2:20 to go in the first quarter. 7-0. Robert E. Lee on the Peyton Price touchdown. They'll split Moss to the near side. Inverted bone. They run the fullback. He's got room. He fumbled it. It is still down on the ground near the 35, and I think Warren DeHaven may have recovered the fumble, and he did. Steve Rose.
Yes, sir, guys. It popped out. It was actually stripped by Ricky Sherfield as he came through the line. It bounced around Warren DeHaven. It took him about 4 rolls to finally get on top of it.
Randy, you saw that same thing.
Well, yeah, and it was a nice, just a reach out and a scratch at the football by Sherfield, and the ball just plops loose and rolls 3 or 4 yards down the field. DeHaven and 2 or 3 others are bobbling for it, and finally DeHaven, it appears to have fallen on the football.
This is a defense that early on was not able to recover fumbles. They are now almost to the point where they got stickum on their fingers. They're recovering all of them. Bailey the center with Hill. Offset eye. Josh up the middle. T.Y. left tackle. There he goes. Midfield. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 2 plays back-to-back, 46 and 66 yards. Touchdown, Robert E. Lee.
In a gaping hole on the left side, Sam Banks and Blake Larman up front just blow open a massive hole, and number 4 scoots through it, and then he outraces 2 or 3 green-shirted Berkner Rams to the corner of the end zone for 6.
You talk about explosion. Andrew Bailey and Banks with a great block inside. Tyrone had a guy with an angle on him, and he made him look like he was standing still. Saran took his man outside, and hey, those big old offensive tackles and guards and centers doing their job in a couple of Man, you're talking about 46 and 66 on back-to-back plays. Here's the snap on the extra point. Giles with Preston Hill Neely. Snap, hold, kick, skates, good. Minute 58 to go. Robert E. Lee, 14, Berkner nothing, back in 60 seconds.
Tyler Independent School District offers more advanced studies programs than any other school system in East Texas. The International Baccalaureate Program challenges students through a rigorous academic curriculum. Mary Lee Jones at MIT calls it the best high school prep curriculum an American school can offer. Education Week magazine calls the IB program the Cadillac of college prep programs. Just one more way, Tyler ISD provides every child every opportunity every day.
I am the king of home entertainment, or the Archduke at least, because I have Cox Digital Cable. Cox has more high-def choices than ever before, and nearly all the high-def programming is free. How cool is that? Cox has great movies and sports programming in high def, plus an interactive program guide that helps you find what you want, when you want, all with no equipment to buy or long-term contract required. You just can't get all that with satellite.
Men, I think our racing team needs to reflect our Supercut sponsorship. So, make some changes. First off, we're going to go to clear helmets so racing fans can see your fine Supercut hair.
Those are made out of glass.
Y'all be careful. Second, uniform change.
How are we supposed to drive? There's no armholes.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but we're working on that.
Man, I'm out of here.
Fellas,
you're out of your mind. That's not
where you going?
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Can you drive a stick?
Lee's first 2 possessions at their 49 at the Berkner 48 came away with nothing. Berkner's defense made a couple of plays behind the line of scrimmage, and now they've got to be down on the sideline scratching their heads because in 2 plays, Lee has now run for 112 yards with Peyton Price 46 and Tyrone goes 66.
You have to give credit, of course, for their great speed from the running back positions, but the offensive line has opened beautiful holes for them to run through, and they've done just that.
And that obnoxious bell and horn down below us here at Wildcat Ram Stadium, at least for now, has been silenced by the Lee offense. But remember now, the defense has gone really strong. Besides the late hit, they've played very well early in this first quarter against an offense that you just don't see a lot of.
Well,
but they have forced a turnover, almost forced another one, and if Lee has a chance to continue to get the penetration, this could be a night when the defense forces a ton of turnovers. Justin Johnson, Zach Mamet back deep to field the kick for the Berkner Rams, and Micah Johnson, the soccer-style kicker, who's the starting cornerback. How many starting cornerbacks are also kickers in any league? Here's Micah. Line drive kick. Mamet will field it 2 yards deep, and he's going to run it out at the 5, at the 10. Tries to bounce it outside, and he's going to go right into the hands of Nick Mitchell. Jeremy Moore and Brad Royal were all there. Great coverage again. Willie Williams, the special teams coach, has to be thrilled with the coverage he's seen with his Red Raider team on kick and punt coverage.
Well, it's obvious with the speed difference, too. Robert E. Lee just gets down the field very, very quickly, and Mamet stopped at the 15-yard line and just ran parallel down the side of the field, and he was wrapped up by 3 white shirts.
He turned the corner on that one play, but he didn't turn the corner there. Nope. The only thing he turned was his shoe to go down. Justin Simmons has checked in here along with James Wilson, the defensive end for Robert E. Lee. Berkner from their 15 down by 14. Mamet in motion. They run the fullback, and Cole Skates wraps him up and drives him into the turf with 3 or 4 other Red Raiders. Jason Stripling, Wilson was there, Micah Johnson was there, and Cole Skates, who had the 3 great plays against Garland, comes up big right there.
Well, Justin Jackson is the fullback. He gets the ball and tries to head off right tackle. He gets right past the line of scrimmage, and number 2 just stands him straight up and then starts pushing, and he gets 2 or 3 other Red Raiders to help follow him out of bounds.
This defense is starting, as Steve mentioned, and Kerry and Randy, you mentioned it as well, peaking at just the right time. Minute 18 to go, first quarter. Berkner on 2nd and 8. Johnson runs the wide pitch, and he's got himself in trouble, and Quet Nicholson comes up with a big stop. He knocks down inside the 10. The ball came loose, but it was ruled down at the 8-yard line, a loss of 7 yards.
That's assignment football, and what they do is just come up and read the play. He follows the pitch man like he's supposed to. Johnson, the quarterback, pitches back to him and just hits him right at his knees. Does Quet Nicholson with a great nifty tackle in open field.
The speed of Lee on the perimeter is absolutely mind-boggling, and you see it here tonight against Berkner. Loss of 9 on the play, 3rd and 17 for a team that doesn't like to throw the football. Johnson from his 8. 3 men in motion, they don't call anything. Johnson, little pass over the middle. Here is a flag now. This has got to come back. There were 3 players in the backfield in motion at the same time. Not sure if they blew it dead or not. They had a tight end wide open over the middle. Because Lee was bringing the kitchen sink, an illegal shift, you'd think they would decline this penalty.
Well, the referee finally threw the flag, but all 3 were in movement. There was definite miscommunication, and they will decline the penalty as the pass over the middle was incomplete.
And I'm sure also up top, Randy Huffstickler, the lead defensive coordinator, Jay Law, the assistant head coach, they will make sure they remember that play, and they're fortunate because there was the penalty anyway. At the same time, he was open for a little pop pass. They overthrow it because Lee was in the face of Johnson. They don't throw it much, and when they do, it's hard to do so as far as to try to help complete it. Micah Johnson back now to field this punt for Robert E. Lee. Tony Bush is down on the sideline over there. Here's the snap and the punt, and Johnson or Kugler with a very nice punt that hits at the 40 and gets a tremendous bounce into Lee territory at the 47-yard line. Boy, that thing came out of there like a cannon, 45 yards, no return. But Robert E. Lee's 4th consecutive drive, Randy. In fact, now wait a minute, 49, 48, 46, 34, and the 47 here.
Yeah, this is the second closest to midfield, actually the 3rd closest to midfield, as Robert E. Lee takes over with great field position once again on another drive.
First down Lee. They've gone back-to-back on plays for touchdowns. 15 seconds to go in the opening quarter. They lead 14-0. This is Peyton Price up the middle, bounces outside and got maybe a half a foot. And that will end the first quarter with our score. Robert E. Lee 14, Berkner Rams nothing. Back in 60 seconds on News Talk 600, KTBB Tyler Longview.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let go.
The new DQ Mulate Frozen Blended Coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
To see this sign on your house, put this sign out front. Century 21 Advantage. Call or visit our website.
Hello, my name is Donna Duncan. I am a teacher at Robert E. Lee High School. I teach English 3 and English 4 and am Dean of the School of Government Law and Communication. I have taught and worked for TISD for 27 years, and you're watching TISD football on Cox.
Back at Wildcat Ram Stadium, Richardson, Texas, Class 5A, Division I, Region 2, second-round playoff game. Robert E. Lee 2nd and 10 at their 48-yard line, leading 14-0. Josh Hill, the quarterback, Peyton Price, the up-back, and T.Y., the tailback. John Giles is the H-back here. And Jonathan Williams, the split receiver, to the far side. They wait for the full minute. Man, hey, these guys are good, these officials. Brian Ernest, the referee, Dwayne Porter, the umpire, Tom Stevens, Wayne Elliott, and Gary Burke, the rest of the crew. T.Y. up the middle, 45, and he was one step away from going the distance again. He got 5 yards, give him 7, down to the Berkner 46-yard line. Kugler on the stop, and it's 3rd and short.
He's using patience, David. He finds the hole to the right, find behind Brian Culp, who makes a nice block up the middle, and he shoots through it for a 6-yard gain.
They will bring in Jason Williams, the hammer. Walter Simpson comes near side. T.Y. was trying to pick up somebody's face mask or maybe looking for a dime or a quarter. 3rd and about 3, and Lee jumps off sides. Saron Black wanting to get into the face of Ugo Chinasi that time, a pre-snap penalty, and Trey Bryant. And I think now that Lee, after that first drive or two, it looks like that Saron, Sam, Blake, and Andrew, Brian, and Steven go, okay, you guys won an early battle, now we're going to win the war, and they have pancaked Brian a couple of different times.
Well, Berkner does have a very large defensive front. They go 225, 320, 260, and 240.
And they're big, tall drink of waters, too.
And they're big old boys, and Lee has a bit of a task tonight up against them.
Well, so far, they've answered that task with the 2 long-distance runs. 3rd now and 8. At midfield, Josh Hill, play action. Here comes the blitz. He steps up in the pocket, now rolls to the near side. Gets around Bryant, now steps up and throws across the field and almost picked off. Boy, that was a dangerous pass, but he did a great job. Josh does a great job of avoiding the sack, and Lee will punt the ball here at midfield. And they did a great job last week of keeping Garland deep in their territory. They've been able to do that again so far tonight here in Richardson.
That's been their forte, just getting field position. On that play, Lamb chased him out of the pocket, big number 88, and he throws the ball, and it's almost intercepted by LaDarren Goodson, number 11, the safety, that drops the pass.
Back to punt, Josh Hill. Lee at midfield. The snap comes from Giles, and Josh led the district with a great average of 42-9 right now. Snap, catch, punt, high, end over end punt. Will hit at the Berkner 20, bounce high in the air, and Johnson picks it up and goes out of bounds at the 15, and then he points to the Lee player. If you don't want to get hit, then don't pick it up off the ground. 34-yard punt, effective 2-yard return, but he knocks it inside the 15-yard line.
And once again, they start deep in their own territory, and I believe every possession, they start at the 3, their own 38, their own 20, their own 15, and now this time at their own 12, 13-yard line. Pardon.
10 minutes, 51 seconds remaining first half. Berkner now on the scoreboard side of the field, which is the north end of the end zone at Wildcat Ram Stadium that seats 10,000. There's probably about 6,000 or 7,000 here tonight. They run the fullback up the middle. He got 3 or 4. DeHaven was there for the first hit. And then Cole Skate there as well. He got about 3, maybe 4 out to the 18-yard line. As the big fullback, Justin Jackson, who has 5 touchdowns rushing this year, picks up 3, give him 4.
And Berkner has to establish some kind of ground game up the middle, or any ground game at all, with Lee's defense playing the way they are. They run to the left side behind Josh Laribas, the left guard on that play.
Laribas, 6'1", 255 sophomore. Their big-time tackle is Alex Uvire at 6'2", 250, the left tackle, senior, right next to Laribas. 2nd down and 6. Johnson, fullback. He got 2 or 3 outside the 20, and a good job by Lee on the backside that time to not give up on the play. Nick Mitchell wrestles down the big 5'10", 195-pound junior, and it's 3rd down and about 2 for Berkner at their 22-yard line.
The Rams continue to try to get a push up the middle, but Lee won't have any of that as Jacoby McKenzie and DeHaven there to help wrap up on the tackle as well.
Robert E. Lee 14, Berkner nothing. 2nd round Class 5A playoff game. 9:40 to go in the first half. 2 wideouts. Mamet in motion. Johnson pitches wide. Knocks down for a loss of 4. The lead defense, Ricky Sherfield, is playing the game of his life, and there was Dominique Van Zandt, DeHaven, Stripling. I mean, you name it, they were all there that time, along with Cordero Mumphrey as well, and 4th down for Berkner.
And they were all waiting on the pitch man as inside help picked up on the quarterback. He made the pitch. He was hit by McKenzie just as soon as he pitches the ball, and 3 white shirts are there to greet the running back, and he could go nowhere but backwards, losing 4.
9 minutes to go in the first half, and Berkner's offense has had 1 decent play on the 15-yard pickup or the 18-yard pickup, and that is it. Back to punt, it is Kugler. He's got a good leg, gets the snap. Lee's bringing pressure. Nice high punt. Knuckleball. Lee hits it, picks it up. That's Tony at the 40. 45 midfield and goes down right there. And another drive for Robert E. Lee with incredible field position. as the field turf here is a little bit different. It's the safe play that's like Rose Stadium. It's more like Bermuda grass rather than the San Augustine type grass. 35-yard punt, 7-yard return from Tony, who's back in the game after getting his ankle retaped.
It has that look of a fake Christmas tree, if you will, when you look at it and walk on it, but it's nice and soft and plush, and Lee loves playing on it, obviously.
Well, they love this stuff here, too. You're exactly right. Lee at the 48 of Berkner. Blake Lorman back in at center. Offset I. Giles the H-back. Play action, bootleg. Josh Hill turns the corner, gets a block. Saran at the 45, at the 40, and close to a first down at the 39. Trey Bryant, big number 6, makes the stop, but it's 9 yards downfield, and Saran with a nice peel-back block that time to get him free for a gain of 9.
And a nice block, too, from Brian Culp and Giles on the right side as they push back on their respective defenders, making a nice push, and it's a defensive tackle that runs down Josh Hill 9 yards downfield.
We talked about what Bryant looked like. Great-looking athlete, 6'2", 320, can run like a deer, but he doesn't play every down. We've noticed that tonight. Big plays and then also on his back. Offset I. Peyton up the middle. At the 35 has a first down. They tried to steal the ball from him, but the big, strong senior fullback picks up 5 yards and a first down.
Yeah, they just run a quick tear play off the right side. Brian Culp with a nice push up front. The tackle was made by Chad Gardner along with D. Smith, the safety for the Berkner Rams.
After the first 3 to 4 minutes of this game seemed to be Berkner controlling the tempo. It has been all Robert E. Lee after they kind of just took their breath and kind of got used to where they were. Jason Williams now is in as the wingback. Royal the fullback, and T.Y. is the tailback. Josh. Wingback reverse, Jason Williams, maybe a yard. Ran into the number 67, Frankie Ford, and Chad Gardner, the middle linebacker. He got a yard at 2nd down and 9, and that play might be setting up something else on this play.
Well, back inside maybe to Peyton Price, or even outside, or even a pass down the middle of the field. We haven't seen a whole lot of that from Lee yet. Only 1 or 2 passes thus far in the game. They haven't had to, as they've run the ball very effectively.
Well, in the first quarter alone, they have 129 yards rushing in the first half, 2nd down, 9. Kind of an offset, no split back formation with Royal the fullback. Play action, Josh sets up with Culp in front of him. Over the middle, pass caught. Tyrone Ross at the 15-yard line, first down. What a nice job by Robert E. Lee up front. What a nice block by Culp and Christian and company. 17 yards, T.Y. First down at the 15 of Berkner.
T.Y. was in the right slot. He takes off and runs a 12-yard crossing pattern. His quarterback with plenty of time. Josh Hill finds him, and he nails him down the field for a big gainer on the pass play for Robert.
And he had plenty of time, folks, and Josh is 5'11". He has to throw those 6'2s and 6'2s and 6'6s, but they gave him room in the middle. Jonathan Williams in it, split end to the right. Offset I. Lee at the 15, T.Y. Bounces it outside, drags somebody inside the 15 to the 14-yard. Frankie Ford was there. And also Ugo Chinasi, who has a 60-yard interception return, the defensive end. It's now 2nd down and 9.
Well, he's been named their defensive player of the game on 5 different occasions this season, and he's definite player, D1 material, but he's only a junior at 6'6", 225 in Chinasi.
6:20 to go. Robert E. Lee had the explosive back-to-back plays to Price and Ross, and now they're trying to stick one in here with a time-consuming drive. Push far side. Walter Simpson near side, man-to-man with Hammonds. Tyler Fleet, the tight end, right hash. Play action bootleg. Josh finds the tight end. Giles, 10, inside the 10, close to the 5, and spun out of bounds. 1st and goal. Tyler's Fleet with a nice tackle, a nice block downfield, but bootleg, and they found John Giles for a first down and a gain of 11.
It fooled 3 to the far side of the field, but getting outside nicely is the quarterback as the bootleg frees him up and gives him that field of vision to throw the football, and right in front of him is John Giles for the connection.
John Giles again with a big catch and a 1st and goal. Robert E. Lee in the full house backfield with Price, Royal, and T.Y. from about the 4. Under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Deep pitch back. Student body right. And T.Y. down to about the 3. Chinasa was there. Ugo Chinasi, the junior, 6'6", 225. And it's now 2nd and goal for Robert E. Lee.
Student body trying to push out wide right, but Chinasi would have none of that. And he ropes down Tyrone Ross from behind his neckline. It looked like he was pulling his head off, but he brings him down nonetheless with one fell swoop.
T.Y. last week had under 60 yards rushing. He has 75 on 6 carries tonight. full house backfield. From about the 2, T.Y. left tackle, very close to the goal line, and they stop him at about the 1-yard line. Good, tough run. Peyton Price, the lead back. Jared Lund, the middle linebacker, was there. And Lee now letting the clock run, of course, with 5:09 to go in the first half, but they're right at the doorstep of the Berkner Rams at the 1-yard line, 3rd down and goal.
See if they can get one final kick in the end zone, either a Josh Hill quarterback sneak or a pitch out wide right to T.Y. See if he can get in the end zone, too.
Lee brings in the full house backfield. Lee fans on their feet, Berkner fans on their feet. From the 1. Hill, quarterback keeper, leans over. And now we wait for the call. Steve Rhodes, you think he got in? He did. Touchdown, Robert E. Lee. Steve, you saw it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious, guys. I don't know why they didn't call it center, but he got right in behind the center and actually was in the end zone by about 3 feet.
Give credit to the big boys up front for winning that battle against the monsters of Berkner in those huge 320 and 260 defensive tackles, as Robert E. Lee now has had 2 quick strikes for scores, and that was a very nice, very kind of a methodical drive, if you will. And here comes Skates now in for the extra point with 4:33 to go. Preston Hill will take the hold. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. It is blocked. And it's live, and Berkner has picked it up, and they will be dragged down eventually at about the 20-yard line. Here comes a late hit against Robert E. Lee. Chad Kugler blocked the extra point, and as he was trying to run downfield, he was eventually knocked out of bounds. And Lee, Saron Black may have gotten him late, and this will, of course, go against Lee on the kickoff. 4:33 to go, 20-0, Robert E. Lee back in 60 seconds.
For the best treats and eats and hottest winning in Texas, you gotta go to DQ. Only DQ's got the classic 4-piece all-white chicken strip country basket served with fries, Texas toast, and the best green gravy anywhere for just $3.99. Only DQ's got a cool creamy banana split made with DQ soft serve for $1.99. And only DQ's got the peel away giveaway game where you can win food, treat prizes, or your chance to win a brand new Dodge Ram 1500 Lone Star Edition pickup.
Car shopping can be stressful. With all the clutter out there, it's hard to tell what to buy. But at Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center, we believe that the simplest way is the best way. So we offer a large selection of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, priced to sell with no hassles. Each vehicle has been through a 20-point inspection for quality assurance. You can shop in comfort under the awnings and check out our newly expanded lot with more inventory than ever before. Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center on the corner of Glenwood and Vine and Tyler.
In the game of life, there are no timeouts, only time wasted. The path you choose now determines your future. But where can you go to find a sense of purpose? There is a place where team spirit steps off the field and into the classroom, where no victory goes unnoticed, and there's no such thing as wasted time. That place is Tyler Junior College, living life in color, never black and white. Come to Tyler Junior College. We're changing the game. We're changing lives.
4 minutes, 33 seconds to go in the first half. Robert E. Lee, 20, and Berkner nothing. Josh Hill with a 1-yard quarterback keeper. 9 plays, 48 yards. That took 4 minutes and 3 seconds off the clock. And the big play in that drive, there were a couple of 3 of them, was the 17-yard pass from Josh Hill to Tyrone Ross down inside the Berkner 20. So Lee of the 20-0 lead. The bad thing is the extra point block. And you hope that doesn't come back to become a problem later in this game, but they got a great push inside. But Lee did a nice job of realizing that the ball was live, and even though they got the 15-yard late hit, they did knock him out of bounds. That's the number one concern right there, not whether or not they hit him late or not.
Well, the nice drive for Lee is really brings a smile to a coach's face. You love scoring fast, 8 or 9 seconds like they had the first 2 times. And that drive was time-consuming, took some time off the clock, and kept their offense off the field for Berkner.
So Lee will kick off now, though, from their 25-yard line, and this is Micah Johnson, an opportunity to maybe get one really deep, and if it hits the ground, maybe get a roll or bounce around a little bit. Back deep is Mamet and Johnson. Micah Johnson approaches, line drive kickoff that Mamet will have to catch at about the 10, and it does hit the ground. He picks it up at the 15, has a little room at the 25-30, 35-40, midfield. And down inside Lee territory for the first time, the Berkner Rams. Micah Johnson, the kicker, makes what could be a touchdown-saving push out of bounds, and so the penalty does give, in a way, Berkner great field position, but that was also a nifty return from Mamet.
41 yards down the field, Zach Mamet found a couple of holes and just danced through them. A few nice juke moves there, David, and it is Micah Johnson that rides him out of bounds on the far side.
It's nice that your kicker is also a starting defensive player,
true.
in this case a cornerback, and because of that, of course, Robert E. Lee has a nice safety valve. 1st and 10, Berkner at the Lee 47. Johnson now with the inverted bone. He wants to throw it. Doesn't have room, doesn't have time, and he's sacked. Ricky Sherfield, Jason Stripling were there, and he lost 2 yards. And great coverage by Quet Nicholson downfield. Man-to-man, and Gabriel Lacey got a nice little push, and it's 2nd down and 12.
Well, flying down the far side of the field, that man-to-man coverage is really the only man that went out after the fake, and he has nowhere to go. He inside and run the ball.
Robert E. Lee now with 2nd down and 12 defensively. Berkner at the Lee 49-yard line gives Sherfield and Stripling a half a sack on 1st down. Johnson, Mamet in motion. They run the option this way. He has nowhere to go, and he fumbled. Berkner has recovered at their 46-yard line, and they are all over the quarterback. Ricky Sherfield at the bottom of that pile. He does have what looks like an injured arm, but he gets up, the tough young kid. He is, and I mean, Robert E. Lee is just having so much penetration right now.
With the speed on the near side of the field, just envelops the quarterback, and he has no way he can pitch the ball, and he just drops it as he's brought down. And alertly, number 83, Moss, the wide receiver, is there to help scoop the ball up.
Let me tell you why Berkner recovered that is because Lee had so many people all over Knox, all over Justin. They were worried about knocking him down. They heard about him all week long. They're tired of hearing about it. 2:59 to go, 3rd and 17 for Berkner at their 46. Johnson, pitch back wide, nothing there. Great job by Jason Stripling. Jason Stripling just shoves him into the Berkner bench, and they are not going wide on Robert E. Lee tonight.
The speed is way too much for Berkner to handle running their speed option, or actually their triple option. The quarterback pitches the ball early on the play, but Stripling is right there to pick up the running back and force him right out of bounds on the short side.
I don't have the official numbers. Remember, Mamet had the 18-yarder. Since that time, Berkner has minus 19 yards rushing.
They just shut him down with the speed. The speed is just way too much for Berkner to handle at the moment.
Back deep is Tony Bush to field the punt inside his 20. Kugler, who's had a nice night punting the football, will take the snap at his 32. 2:49 to go. 20-0, Robert E. Lee leading Berkner. Snap, some pressure, punt, high end over end, and Bush will field it as 20. And a nice tackle in open field by Hammonds, but Tony Bush gives Lee pretty good field position on a 6-yard return out to the 25-yard line.
Well, Lee will set up shop now a little bit further back on their own end of the field, David, and we'll see if they can get the ball going on another nice time-consuming drive before the half.
Up front for Robert E. Lee again. They have been able to find the seams. They had the 2 quick strikes, then the methodical drive, and now they'd love to go into the 2-minute offense. Jonathan Williams, the wide receiver, is checked in. Lee 20, Berkner nothing. The winner of this game will get the winner of tomorrow's game in Waco between Round Rock McNeil and the Woodlands. Tyler Fleet, tight end near side. Williams split wide. Giles, the H-back. Straight on. T.Y. bounces outside 20 and got maybe 2. Boy, that was a dangerous collision. I think T.Y. is hurt. He is a tough young man. Yeah, he got hit right in the shin. It was kind of like his in fact, the Berkner players coming off. Yeah. Daryl McNair. I mean, you're talking, but first of all, T.Y. can squat the field house. So if you hit him in the leg, yeah, you might get him there. And they got him a little bit on the shin, I think, more than anything else. I was concerned that his leg got caught in the turf.
Right.
And he will come out here. They're going to give him a break. And Jason Williams, you know what? If you're the opposing defense, you go, okay, T.Y., Jason Williams, T.Y., Jason Williams, and then go offset I 2nd down and 8. Flip the reverse, Tony Bush. This guy can run. 30, 40. Tony out near midfield. Can he turn on the jet or what? Somebody threw a great block at about the 30. Andrew Bailey on a great peel block after the center pulled 18 yards in the flip to the wide receiver. Really neat looking call right there.
And Peyton Price leading the way too with a nice seal block, peeling back on number 88, big guy Lamb. He laid him back on his rear end, and the door was open for Tony Bush to take off.
T.Y. says, hey, listen, I'm a senior. I don't know how many more of these I have. Jason, thanks for the one play break. Lee at their 44, minute 43 to go, first half. T.Y. stretch play right side, cuts it back against the grain and not much there. Lots of green was there. Williams, the defensive tackle, who had knee surgery back in the summer, playing now, stops T.Y. for a gain of 2. The clock now a factor, minute 25 to go. Lee has 2 of their 3 timeouts remaining.
Well, they have plenty of time and patiently running the ball, keeping it on the ground, just assaulting the strong side of the Berkner defense. And let's see if they put it in the air now and get further downfield.
Walter Simpson and Williams near side. Tony Bush to the far side. Tight end is Giles. Shotgun. Josh takes the snap. Wide receiver screen. Simpson. Midfield block. 40. Giles with a great block down inside the Berkner 30-yard line down to the 27. John Giles with a great block on the wide receiver slip screen. Kind of a little stop and go that time. And down to the 28-yard line, a gain of 26 yards, first down, 58 seconds to go in the half.
And Walter Simpson showcases his speed as well as he cut back inside the nifty block from Giles and found a hole and squirted down the field where he's brought down by 2 or 3 Berkner defenders.
Josh Hill, 5 of 7 in the first half for 72 yards. He's looking really sharp from the 29. Draw play, Jason Williams, 25 down to the 24, got about 4. Timeout Lee, 43 seconds to go, 20-0 Robert E. Lee. We're back in 60 seconds on News Talk 600 KTBB.
Here's a question. If you needed your insurance, who would you call? Not the name of the company, but the name of the person. You've got 2 seconds. Coming up blank, you may want to consider Allstate. You'd have a local agent you can count on, a licensed professional whose name you know, not just a number. You deserve a relationship with a real person.
For all your insurance needs, call the McIntyre Insurance Agency in the Albertson Shopping Center.
Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Represent your team like never before. On the field, on the court, it's all in our store. The spirit of your team, the season of your dreams. Looking for the victory, we've got what you need. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics.
Hi, I'm Becky Martin. I've been with TISD for 19 years, and I teach English here at Robert E. Lee, and you're watching TISD football on Cox.
There are 43 seconds to go in the half. Robert E. Lee 20, Berkner nothing. Lee at the Berkner 23. Lee has 1 timeout remaining, second down and 4. Shotgun, Josh Hill. Williams in motion to the near side. Josh takes the snap. Tony Bush over the middle. And not much there. Maybe a yard. Here comes a flag down at the end of the play. I'm not sure. Maybe a face mask and maybe a player downfield. D. Smith, the safety, on the stop that time for Berkner. And the official, the back judge, throws the penalty flag. And now we'll check out the call from the official, and they may wave this off. I think they are. They are waving it off with 34 seconds to go. And it brings up 3rd down and 4, but more importantly, Randy, 34 seconds to go. And they've run the clock here. Lee was getting the call from the sideline. 3rd and 4. They got the great kicker in skates. Shotgun Josh. Here comes the blitz. Snap, Josh. Sets up, rolls right, now runs. And he's going to get sacked for a loss of 2 and a timeout. He went to throw it on the right-hand side to the Lee sideline, and he just kind of, at the last second, stopped from pulling the trigger. Ford got the sack for a loss of a yard or 2, and Cole Skates now, you would think, comes in with 12 seconds to go in the first half.
But he had Simpson down the middle of the field to the right-hand side going into the end zone. He's picked up by backup safety Wesley Nakawasa, who picks him up, and Josh was going to pull the trigger to him, but 21 Nakawasa was there to pick him up.
So 12 seconds to go. Robert E. Lee takes a timeout, and Cole Skates, who has had a brilliant career, 17 of 20 through his career as a kicker, and document his career as a freshman now. Cole was very deadly as a kicker. That's what he played. His sophomore year, he became the linebacker. Then last year, he played linebacker pretty much exclusively because he had the hamstring. And now he's been kicking most of the year with a couple of exceptions of Josh Hill. His long is 52. This will be a pretty good one, 42 yards. Preston Hill is the quarterback who will kneel at the 32-yard line of Berkner. Remember, they got the big, tall Drinkwaters, Shanasi, Bryant, Williams, and Lamb. It's 6'5", 6'6", 6'2", and 6'2" in the middle. So you got to try to chop them if you can. This will be a 42-yard field goal attempt. Giles, the snapper. The deep snap will go to Hill. Snap, hold, kick, block. And Berkner picks it up at the 30, at the 35-40, at midfield, at the 40, and knocked down at the Lee 30-yard line. And there are 2 seconds remaining in the first half. They are just so big inside. Trey Bryant caved it in, the 6'2", 320 senior. And Cole Skates, that thing barely got off his foot. Great push up front by Berkner, and they have a chance to toss one in the end zone with 2 seconds to go, but Lee does a great job of making sure they wrestle him down to make him have to throw it here. Great job by Bryant, and they are just so tall inside, and that was one of the concerns you have to have when Lee was trying to kick the field goal right there. That might affect Lee later on if they go to have to kick a field goal. They might just go ahead and go for it because of the concerns about getting blocked. They've now had an extra point block and a field goal block in back-to-back kicks. 2 seconds to go in the half. Gabriel Lacey in a defensive tackle for Lee. Johnson throws a swing pass. Mamet incomplete. That ends the half. What was that? I don't understand that. And Steve Rose with Mike Owens. Steve?
Coach Owens, defense looks real good. Offense a little bit sluggish. Your thoughts?
I don't think we look too sluggish. I mean, we're scoring big. They got good players over there. Sluggish. That's if you're better than they are, then you will be better.
You make any different adjustments at halftime?
Well, we're gonna make as many adjustments as we need to. Offensively, we just need to block somebody.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, that's Mike Owens. Thanks to Steve Rhodes. It's 20-0. Robert E. Lee at halftime, right here on News Talk 600 KTBB.
Know what I like about Texas? There ain't no place that I'd rather be. You got a much nicer pace, the family has its place, and you can still find a wide open space. Dairy Queen's what I like about Texas, from the blizzard to the dude, man, I know. From the cities out to the ranches, there's a DQ wherever I go. DQ, that's what I like about Texas.
Man, are we going to take every lap full speed?
Yeah!
Are we going to trade paint without fear?
Yeah!
Are we going to brush our hair 100 times a day and condition after every shampoo and choose the right hair color to match our skin tone? Tim?
Terry, I'm an autumn.
I'm a spring. Now let's go out there and win one!
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Bell on
sidekick routine to the music. Talk to me, dance with me. And now, under the field direction of head drum major Adrian Jones, assistant drum majors Brian Kelly and Mondale Anoa'a, the Red Raider Band takes you back to an old Carlos Santana favorite, Evil Wave. Here's a Beatles classic, From Me to You.
afternoon, sir. Bill Butler, how are you?
Good.
Good. Well, prepare to be great, my friend. I present the Turbo Suck 3000.
Actually, you know, my show's about to start.
Don't worry, Dave. The Cox DVR is set to record every episode. You can watch it when he's done.
Perfect. I'll just need an outlet. There you go.
Watch your favorite shows on your schedule with the DVR from Cox. TV waits for you.
Now you can get into the deep crevices here in the corner.
The Tyler Independent School District employs 2,600 and serves over 17,500 students with a primary mission to ensure the academic success of every student, and also is committed to fiscal responsibility, ranking among the top districts in the state for percentage of budget spent on instruction, and receiving the prestigious Superior Financial Rating from the Texas Education Agency. We're committed to improvement, not only because it's what the people of Tyler expect, but because it's what the people of Tyler deserve.
Here's Steve Rhodes with Mike Owen.
Coach Owens, what'd you tell your team at halftime?
Well, we just told them we got to step it up a notch, especially offensively. Defensively, we got to continue to play hard and smarter, and I think we'll be all right. But we've got to step it up some on offense.
Berkner doing anything that you did or didn't expect?
Well, they're playing a little different defensively than what we thought they were going to play, but we've taken care of that. They're playing for the edges all the way, and so we've hit some things inside that have hurt them big time. So we're just going to continue to see if we can hit them inside.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Steve, thank you very much.
Here's a question. If you needed your insurance, who would you call? Not the name of the company, but the name of the person. You've got 2 seconds. Coming up blank, you may want to consider Allstate. You'd have a local agent you can count on, a licensed professional whose name you know, not just a number. You deserve a relationship with a real person.
For all your insurance needs, call the McIntyre Insurance Agency in the Albertson Shopping Center.
In the game of life, there are no timeouts, only time wasted. The path you choose now determines your future. But where can you go to find a sense of purpose? There is a place where team spirit steps off the field and into the classroom, where no victory goes unnoticed, and there's no such thing as wasted time. That place is Tyler Junior College, living life in color, never black and white. Come to Tyler Junior College. We're changing the game. We're changing lives.
Car shopping can be stressful. With all the clutter out there, it's hard to tell what to buy. But at Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center, we believe that the simplest way is the best way. So we offer a large selection of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, priced to sell with no hassles. Each vehicle has been through a 20-point inspection for quality assurance. You can shop in comfort under the awnings and check out our newly expanded lot with more inventory than ever before. Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center on the corner of Glenwood and Vine and Tyler.
Know what I like about Texas? There ain't no place that I'd rather be. We got a much nicer pace. The family has its place, and you can still find a wide open space. Dairy Queen's what I like about Texas. From the blizzard to the dude, man, I know. From the cities out to the ranches, there's a DQ wherever I go. DQ, that's what I like about Texas.
Brian Colt, the senior right guard for Robert E. Lee, is the captain for Lee as they kind of make sure they get everything straight to start the second half. Steve Rhodes, you talked to Gary Fleet, and also we just heard from Mike Owens. Apparently there was a little miscommunication, is that right, at the end of the first half?
David, that's correct. What they wanted to do was they wanted to let the clock run down to 2 seconds before they called a timeout. They didn't do that, which enabled Berkner to have more time on the clock and almost score.
And that might be why Mike Owens basically was in a pretty foul mood as we went to the half. It wasn't because his team was 20-0. I mean, pretty happy about that. I know that they would like to have gotten more points at the end of the first half, but that might have been it. And those are the kind of things, again, as you get deeper into the playoffs, can be huge type lessons you learn, and you hope you have a chance to come back after you've learned them. And that's part of, being in that situation, too.
I think the countdown was before the field goal was blocked, even, because when they got there,
that's exactly right.
So they wanted to wait and maybe even try on fourth down to go for it, if not try the kick. But nonetheless, they came out unscathed.
And here we go to start the second half. Micah Johnson kicking off in the north end of the end zone. Back deep is Mamet and Johnson. Micah Johnson high, this time a pooch kick that looks like it's going to go out of bounds, and that will give Berkner pretty good field position unless they ask him to kick it again. But the way Lee has covered the kick returns, you would think that that Berkner would want the ball anywhere they can that's outside the 15-yard line.
And that's what they're going to do, is they're going to take the penalty.
How about Mesquite?
Wow.
Here's a team that was rolled by Longview, rolled by Lee. They win their first game against a District 11 5A champion, South Garland, and tonight they beat Allen Wilson's Dallas Carter Cowboys 28-27, and they lead the charge for District 12 5A into the third round of the 5A state playoffs in Division II. Berkner from their 30, Johnson with -7 yards rushing, keeps it on the option, and he gets nothing because Cordero Mumphrey with great job down the line, along with Dominique Van Zandt and much more, and Johnson may have gotten a yard. He had a little seam right there, but great backside pursuit.
And that was James Wilson, who's in the game too for Robert E. Lee. Helps the backside pressure and knock down the quarterback. He was going to make the pitch and saw a slight opening, but it closed up quickly with Mumphrey and company there.
You wonder how frustrated he must be, because he's used to running free. They will send Devin Morgan to the far side. Knox is in the split over here. They pitch it back to Knox, and he is run down for a loss of 5, and a great play by the senior, Lance Heap. He didn't take any fake at all, Randy, and a loss of 6 yards back to the 25.
He was in an all-out sprint, and Knox got the pitch on the reverse back to the far side of the field, and Lance Heap just ran him down as if he was standing still and wraps him up for a 4-yard loss, and Lee's defense is right at it again. And this flexbone offense really has nowhere to go if they can't throw the ball very well. And
it's third down and 13 with 10:50 to go in the third quarter. We have just started. And Lance Heap ran him down, like you said, as if he was stopped. Third down, Johnson in the shotgun. Wants to throw, a little swing pass out to Mamet, and he is going to be knocked down for a short gain at the 22. Nick Mitchell and Quet Nicholson there, and he lost 4 more. Wow. The Lee speed on defense is mind-boggling for this Berkner Rounds football team.
That's the 10th negative play on offense for Berkner, as they've done just a fantastic job. Robert E. Lee just really taking them out of their game plan to be able to run the ball at all.
Steve Rhodes.
Guys, we talked about it in pregame. You've got a fast defense. That's the best thing to go up against a wishbone.
That's exactly right. You want to make sure if you run against the wishbone. Here comes the snap to Kugler, the punter, who stands inside his 10. The Lee fans are jacked up right now. They're dancing around a low snap, and he doesn't get it. And he's going to be hit at the 10. And Lee recovers. Cole skates. I told you they've had problems with the punt snaps all year. They had just changed the deep snapper to Jonathan Bowman, and Cole skates, knocks the punter Kugler down at the 12-yard line, make it the 8. It's first and goal, Lee, a loss of 14.
And Lee brings some pressure. 2 or 3 lead defenders there in his face, and he can't handle the snap, and that goes down as a 14-yard loss on a running play for Berkner.
Lee will start this drive, this half, 20-0 at the Berkner 8-yard line. Tight end is Fleet. The center is Larman. Peyton Price up the middle at the 5 near the goal line, and tossed down there at about the 2. make it the 1. Kugler makes the stop, and that was like old JT Wing T football right there. He got down inside the 5 to the 1 and a gain of 6 yards.
Sam Banks leading the way with a nice push up front, making the hole in the tear play for the fullback, Peyton Price, to slam through, and they're knocking on the door again.
Simpson split far side, 2nd down and goal. Tight end is Fleet, H-back is Giles, split backs Price and T.Y. Hill, Peyton, up the middle, untouched, up the gut, touchdown! Just like that. Great block inside, Brian Culp and Sam Banks. Stephen Christian, Saron Black and all sorts of others in red and white. Lorman the center, and Robert E. Lee takes 2 plays after the punt snap. The problem, it's 26-0, blowout city early.
And they're just blowing them off the line of scrimmage. That left side, once again, the experienced anchors in Sam Banks and Saron Black with an exceptional push up the middle, and Peyton Price blasts through untouched for the touchdown.
Wow, this is very impressive to start the second half. The team was up 20-0. They come out even more focused. Snap, hold, kick, good. No push up front that time. 9:56 to go, third quarter. Robert E. Lee 27, Berkner nothing. Back in 60 seconds on KTBB.
Okay, we'd like you to try 2 frozen lattes. One is from a national chain of coffee shops, and the other is new from Dairy Queen.
This one's fantastic.
Looks like you chose the new DQ Latte. Great. Okay, you can give it back now.
Test is over. Let it go.
The new DQ Mulate Frozen Blended Coffee, made with creamy DQ soft serve in 3 tempting flavors. Grab one and DQ something different.
Likes it a lot.
Men, I think our racing team needs to reflect our Supercut sponsorship. So, make some changes. First off, we're going to go to clear helmets so racing fans can see your fine Supercut hair.
Those are made out of glass.
Y'all be careful. Second, uniform change.
How are we supposed to drive? There's no armholes.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but we're working on that.
And I'm out of here.
Fellas,
you're out of your mind. That's not.
Where you going?
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Can you drive a stick?
Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Represent your team like never before. On the field, on the court, it's all in our store. The spirit of your team, the season of your dreams. Looking for the victory, we've got what you need. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics.
Hello, my name is George Faber, and I'm the Visual and Performing Arts Director for TISD. It is my pleasure to serve as the administrator of many fine award-winning programs in our district from kindergarten through high school, as well as work with many highly qualified teachers. Our main goal is to help students receive a well-rounded education of mind, body, and soul to promote the integration of arts into math, science, reading, English, and social studies. You're watching TISD football on Cox.
We are back at Wildcat Ram Stadium in Richardson. It's the home of the Berkner Rams and Lake Highlands Wildcats, and right now it is the home of the Red Raiders of Mike Owens and Robert E. Lee.
Scoring summary for Robert E. Lee, David. 2 plays, 8 yards in 48 seconds as they cash in on the bad snap on the punt, and the Lee defense is making it happen right now.
I got a number for you on offense. Johnson has -6 yards. Knox has is that right, 18 yards? That's 6. They are -3 actually.
In the game. Yep.
-3 yards rushing in the game, and guess what, Randy? They are 3 of 6 passing for 4 yards. No, check that. 3 of 6 passing for 1 yard. Micah Johnson, look at the Lee crowd, shaking the bottles, shaking a little booty, shaking the stadium. And Robert E. Lee is shaking up Berkner. Johnson approaches at the 40. Line drive kickoff, and Mamet hits it at the 10, picks it up at the 3, at the 5. Great coverage. He got away from the outside man, but dropped down there. There's a flag down. George Faber, the linebacker, whose dad runs the Fine Arts Department at TISD, with a stop at the 23-yard line, but a flag is down. He got around Adrian Beard for a second, who forced him right into the hands of One very excited George Faber holding as well on the play.
It came from the backside on the return team. It looked like number 17, Darren McClure, grabbed a hold of one or two Red Raiders as they tried to skirt by him as Mamet was running that way, and Mamet cut back inside away from that, but the umpire, back judge, actually found the flag and threw it.
1st and 10, Berkner will start this drive inside their 15. You know, the field position in this game,
it's been wild,
has been absolutely dominating. Even though Lee had those 2 early drives where they were near midfield and didn't score, they did a great job of pooching the ball down inside the 15 and covering it as well, and the defense forcing 3 and out. This is an offense in Berkner that averaged 293 yards a game and 23.7 points a game. From the 13, Johnson runs the fullback, and he got basically a yard, maybe 2. Dominique Van Zant was there for Robert E. Lee. Micah Johnson at the bottom, Stripling at the bottom of the pile as well. James Wilson was there. He's in a defensive end. And when you're an option team, you throw the ball when a team least expects it, or you're in really big trouble.
Well, Berkner's not been able to hold on to their blocks because of Lee's speed up front, too, and that's been the biggest difference in this ball game.
2nd down and 8. Paradis in motion. They run the option. This is Johnson. He does try to turn the corner, tripped up for a gain of about a foot. Quentin Nicholson, Cordero Mumphrey, Takarian Cuba, and a lot of others. It looks like Lee is in the backfield on the snap. They are so quick.
Well, they're just getting outside, and give credit to Lance Heap, too, as he picked up the trailing back on that play. And Johnson wanted to pitch it a time or two, but I'm sure he saw number 5 and wide of the corner of his eye right on top of his tailback.
They are probably wondering if who are these guys in red and white. Last time they played a team in red and white, I think it was Duncanville. They were drilled 49-7. Shotgun pressure, gets around Stripling. Now throws a little pass out to number 40, who has a first down. That is Jackson. And Berkner's head coach, Jim Ledford, had to just go, wow, thank you for the first down. A gain of 9. Jason Stripling, by the way, had Johnson to the straight to dead right, but he made a nice move and throws it, and Cuba knocks him out of bounds after a gain of 9.
Yeah, Johnson was the key on the play. He just faked out the defender coming in after him and just went right around him and found his safety valve up the field to his fullback for the first down.
Boy, Jason Stripling, remember, had that shoulder injury earlier this year, is starting to really tee off. Up the middle, fullback for about 4. Not even that. He didn't get 4. Looked like, yeah, he did. He got to the 30 or 29-yard line. Warren DeHaven was there for Robert E. Lee, and it's not just one person on the tackles. There's 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 red and white jerseys on the tackle.
It's the red swarm, and they've coined that phrase too because their ability to move to the football and swarm, and 4 and 5 lead defenders are on the tackle most every time out.
So 2nd down and 6, Robert E. Lee now with Lance Heap in at the safety position. He and Nick Mitchell have been rotating. Cole Skates will go man up here on the outside. Here comes the blitz, and he goes right at Johnson. Pass is incomplete, and Skates, number 2, into the face of number 2, forces the pass to go out of bounds, and it's 3rd down and 6 for Berkner.
Yeah, the blitz from the near side from his linebacker position really did detail how that ball was going to go. Johnson had to let it go a little faster than he wanted to and threw it a lot higher to his intended receiver on the near side of the field.
Sam Banks, the last week, is starting to go a little more two-way again like he did at the start of the year. He had a big forced fumble last week. He's in at nose tackle here on 3rd down and 6 for Berkner at their 29-yard line. They go the inverted bone. One receiver wide. Johnson wants to throw the pop pass, cannot do it. Now rolls to his right, and he has nowhere to go, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 34. Cordero Mumphrey and Ricky Sherfield are dominating this game at the defensive end position, am I right?
Well, you're right, and what happened there, too, it looked like Johnson had some field to run. He wanted to throw the ball, just very much so wanted to throw the ball, but he's chased out of the bounds.
They gave him a mark at the 35-yard line. They didn't even bring the chains across. He did not get to the 35, and they're going to give him a first down. I know it's 27-0. He didn't reach the 35-yard line, and a gain that time of 6 yards by Johnson, who is just now above 0 yardage for the game. Berkner trying to get a drive alive. Here's Johnson on the pitch wide, and that thing is on the turf. And Knox recovers it after a gain or a loss of 15 yards. Takarian Cuba was there. Johnson had to pitch it. Knox had to recover it. He lost 15 yards. Maybe that makes up for the bad spot.
Well, they might Might have really thought about punting it anyways, but they had a first down, and the pitch was wide because they force him to pitch it earlier than he wants to, and 4 or 5 white shirts are there each and every play on the option outside.
Jason Stripling forced that early pitch. Not many teams run the wishbone, and Berkner right now wishes they weren't either. Second down and 20-25. Johnson, shotgun, Lee moves up. Here comes Skates on the blitz. He doesn't see him, throws it back, picked off! Intercepted! Cordero Mumphrey. They tried to throw it back on a screen. Skates forced the pass, and Cordero Mumphrey getting 5 from his friends. What a great play. He did not leave his assignment.
No, he didn't. And Cole Skates made the play with the pressure on the quarterback, forcing him ever further out wide right, and he just throws the ball underneath. And Mumphrey is there to make the pick and reading the play beautifully. Lee takes over deep in Berkner territory.
Offense is probably a little upset. They're used to the ball at the 8-yard line the last drive. They're now at the 14. Cordero Mumphrey's having a monster game. 27-0 Lee at the 14. Josh Hill, Peyton Price bounces it outside. May have lost a yard or two. And they just took it to him and said, just kind of go with it. Lost a couple of yards back to the 16-yard line. Saron Black gets up limping a little bit, causing a couple of waves. The human island, and it's second down and 12.
Berkner gets a nice push up front from their big guys on that prior play, and they get a push back on the lead line. No gain. Walter
Simpson far side. Hammond's on him man-to-man. Split backs, Peyton and T.Y. In motion, Tony Bush. From the 16, they run the reverse. This is Bush at the 15, and he can't get loose. It's a very nice job by somebody on the jersey as they ran Tony Bush for the second time, and he got back to the line of scrimmage. Frankie Ford. Frankie spelled F-A-R-N-Q-U-I-S, the junior, 6'1", 255.
He had help from Jordan Pettit, the safety, who cheated up against the run, actually saw the reverse developing, and he got there too to help bring down Tony Bush.
By the way, 5 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, third quarter. Jacob Amy, his first appearance in a long time at wide receiver. Bush in the slot. Third down, Lee and 12, up 27-0 at the Berkner 16. Hill to Price up the middle, breaks a tackle at the 10, and gets down inside the 10 to about the 7, which also makes a manageable fourth down possibility here. Christian on the pull block that time, and that's a nice little change-up. You're thinking about the throw, and they go 8 yards up the middle to Peyton Price. And I'm thinking, is JT in the house because they're running a wing tee?
It looked like a wing tee pitch from Josh as he had the lone back behind him, that being Price. He takes the pitch and just gets a little head of steam, falls behind Sam Banks for a nice game.
And you think the blocked field goal has a decision here to go for with 5 minutes to go, third quarter. It is 4th and 3. It would be a chip shot field goal. Giles the H-back. Split backs behind Josh. Peyton Price up the middle near the 5. And I now depends on the spot. I think he's short. He needed the 4, and Berkner stops him at about the 5. And Lee will turn it back over to Berkner at their 5-yard line.
Well, that definitely had a decision in all that took place. Lee thought they had a chance on the 4th and 2 or 3, but they come up short, and that blocked field goal earlier and the blocked extra point played a role there.
Hey, by the way, Dallas Carter was kicking an extra point to tie the game against Mesquite. They fumbled the snap, and Mesquite ran it back all the way to the Carter 1-yard line and then ran out the clock by taking a knee to win the game 28-27. Wow. Here is Johnson, the fullback. Jackson, nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. Wilson, 45 was there for Robert E. Lee. Justin Simmons. Also Gabriel Lacey, who's the Peninsula, the 6'1", 256-pound senior. And it's second down and forever for Berkner from their 5.
Well, Lee's dominance along the line of scrimmage really on both sides of the ball has been key. That paired up with their speed advantage, and they're just flexing their muscles right now on defense.
Since midway through the second quarter against Garland, when Garland had first and goal at the Lee 5, this defense has almost been flawless.
Phenomenal.
4 minutes to go, third quarter. They pitch it back to Knox. He goes outside, and he goes down for another loss. Warren DeHaven and Quet Nicholson were there. You know what? This poor kid, Chris Knox, averaging 7 yards a carry entering this game, has 9 carries, minus 37 yards.
Well, that's attributable to Lee's pressure on the quarterback making bad pitches, and it goes to Knox's fingertips most times when he can't catch it. The minus 15 moments ago was a great indicator of the Lee speed that's taken over the ball game. And
It's like a sprinkler system. Players everywhere. It's just unbelievable. 3rd and 13, Berkner from their 2. They run the fullback up the middle, and Jackson gets nothing. Lacey was there, along with a bunch of others, DeHaven, Van Zandt. And this defense is smelling blood right now. They're smelling blood right now. And it's 4th down. Berkner will have to punt from their 4-yard line.
It would really make nothing better for the whole evening that if they came up with that big goose egg on the scoreboard at the end of the game. That's what they want to get tonight. Let's see if they can hold on.
I'll tell you what, that would be really sweet. You're right. But I think after Mumphrey picked off the pass, they'd like to take one of those fumbles and run it back the other way. Jason Stripling did that, of course, against Longview. Berkner will have Kugler back at the back line in the end zone. And hey, by the way, does anyone hear that obnoxious horn?
It stopped.
I haven't heard it in a while. 4th down, Kugler punting from the end zone. He gets this snap and gets it off and turns it over. And Tony Bush will he let it hit at the 40, out near midfield. And it crosses at about the 49-yard line. And how many drives? I think every drive that Lee has had, except for one, has been outside their 40-yard line. That's a 46-yard punt from Kugler.
Well, he got about a 10-yard roll, too, does Kugler on the punt. That's really been their lone bright spot, as he's gotten them out of a world of trouble numerous times. But once again, Lee starts near midfield, and they probably average around the 45-yard line the whole game thus far, too.
It's 1st and 10, Lee at their 49, leading 27-0. 2:05 to go in the 3rd quarter at Wildcat Ram Stadium in Richardson. Josh Hill will throw. Sets up in the pocket, going deep. John Giles caught it, dropped it. He had beaten the safety. That was a spectacular throw by Josh Hill, and John had to kind of lean back, almost caught it, looked like he was about to catch it on the bounce, and it falls incomplete. It's 2nd down and 10. That's a pretty nice play, getting a tight end 45 yards downfield.
He was downfield. He was picked up by Jordan Pettit, the safety, and he outran him and got behind him. The pass was a little behind him, but he almost made a fantastic catch. He was bumped along his hip by Pettit, and he dropped the ball.
He was almost so wide open, but he had to kind of turn, and there was a little traffic in front of him. 2nd down and 10, Lee at their 49. Up the middle, T.Y., 45-40. Inside the 35 and a 1st down, gain of 17 yards. The safety makes the stop. Ryan Davenport with a nice block for Robert Lee and a 1st down.
Well, the safety saved the touchdown, too. Davenport on the right side just blows open a nice hole in front of him on Shigasi, and just pushed him back, and the lane was open for Tyrone to run through, and he did dramatically.
T.Y. is 4 yards away from 100 yards on the game. He has surpassed 5,000 yards in total offense in this game tonight. Split backs, Lee at the 34. Up the middle, Peyton Price, 2-3, down inside the 34 yards, 5 yards to the 29. If you worry about T.Y., then you got to worry about Peyton Price, then you got to worry about the passing game, then you got to worry about the tear, then you got to worry about the wingback reverse. Oh yeah, and throwing a screen pass every once in a while.
And the stretch play, and on and on and on. Lee's weapons are too much for a team that doesn't have the speed to match up, but Lee's just had great blocking right along the line of scrimmage on their key big plays they've had tonight as well.
2nd down and 5, Robert E. Lee 27, Berkner nothing. Minute to go in the 3rd quarter, Lee driving again. At the 29, straight eye, play action pass, here comes the blitz, throw swing pass, incomplete for Williams. It's probably a good thing because he was well covered by D. Smith. Pressure that time from Kugler, and I want to go over some things, okay? This is the game plan that Lee would have in a game. These are just some of the things they do. Deuce 18 stretch, spread 38 stretch, 38, I got Rip Max 16 drive, Liz Ram 19 stretch, Pro Jam crease ST,
great football speed.
It's just constant, and they run so many formations, they scheme you to death, and I probably just butchered every single play. 3rd down, Lee at the 29. Hill, play action, bootleg, gets sacked for the 40-yard line. And Chad Kugler knocked Josh down for a loss of 12, and that's the one play that has not worked very well. It did one play, but that is a play that Berkner's done a very nice job of reading. And Lee will have 4th down, a loss of 12.
And Chad Kugler just sprinting up the line of scrimmage like he did on the prior play on the blitz, and he blitzed to the right side that the quarterback turned to, and he grabbed a hold of Josh and flung him down for a loss.
I was concerned because he threw him down like a dish rag about his shoulder, and Lee is just going to... Mike Owens is going to let the clock run out. The play clock has not even started, and the game clock is inside 10 for the 3rd quarter, and they will let it run out. At the end of 3, Robert E. leads 27, Berkner nothing, back in 60 seconds on News Talk 600 KTBB.
To see this sign on your house, put this sign out front. Century 21 Advantage. Call or visit our website.
Morning.
What's up, bro?
Welcome to the party. It's the ESPN Game Plan College Football Pay-Per-View Package. Get access to more than 150 extra college football games this season.
Prepare to party. Call 1-888-SPORTS-IN and order ESPN Game Plan. Available with Cox Digital Cable.
Car shopping can be stressful. With all the clutter out there, it's hard to tell what to buy. But at Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center, we believe that the simplest way is the best way. So we offer a large selection of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, priced to sell with no hassles. Each vehicle has been through a 20-point inspection for quality assurance. You can shop in comfort under the awnings and check out our newly expanded lot with more inventory than ever before. Jim Lozier's Fire Station Auto Center on the corner of Glenwood and Vine and Tyler.
Hi, I'm Angie Billings. I have taught at Lee for 11 years. I teach English, and you're watching TISD Football on Cox.
We're back in Richardson, Texas, Class 5A, Division I, Region 2, semifinal game, and Robert E. Lee is 12 minutes away from moving into the quarterfinals for a 3rd consecutive year. Semifinals 2 years ago. It is 27-0 Lee, and they're about to punt from the Berkner 37-yard line. They have controlled the tempo of this game pretty much from about the 2nd series on offense. Josh Hill stands at midfield. He was just knocked down for a loss. Berkner will try to bring some pressure if they can up the middle and watch for the fake with Peyton Price, the up back. They've done it before. Nice snap. Gets it off. And a nice high little wobbly kick. We'll see where it lands, and that's going to go out of bounds, and probably Lee will push him down inside around the 15 or 20-yard line. It just all depends now on the angle of the 18-yard line. A 20-yard punt, but again, Berkner will start another drive deep in their own territory.
Yeah, they've only had 2 drives where they've started anywhere near midfield. Their prior possession earlier there late in the 3rd quarter, and then one earlier in the game where they started at their own 47 as well. Other than that, they've been backed up inside the 20-yard line on the other 6 possessions of the ball game.
Preston Hill is in at safety for Robert E. Lee. Lance Heap is one of the bandits on the right side, and Uzel and Banbury in the game, and so is Reed. Johnson wants to throw over the middle, pass caught by Mamet and almost picked off by what looked like, Quentin Nicholson almost got an interception. He reacted, and then he kind of hesitated, and he got a 9-yard pickup, and Quet almost had his 2nd straight game with a pick.
Well, he was right on top of the play, and give credit to Zach Mamet. He runs a nice little curl pattern about 8 yards down the field, and you could tell that Berkner doesn't throw the ball much. They look really discombobulated when they throw the ball.
So 2nd and a yard. They'll try to get a 1st down here, down 27. They run the fullback. Nope, they keep the option, and there's another fumble. Picked up by Lee. Trevor Reed. What did I say? What did I say? Touchdown! Touchdown! Trevor Reed. Touchdown, 24 yards. Quet Nicholson forced the fumble. They got the defensive score.
And they did. Johnson made the pitch late as he's wanting to. He pitched the ball out, and just a nice hit right as the ball got there by Nicholson. It pops free, and Reed scoops it up at the 23, 24-yard line and runs in untouched for 6 for Robert E. Lee touchdown.
It looked like Johnson had somebody, and Quet Nicholson has been amazing forcing the pitch. He knocked it loose because the running back had no chance, and Trevor Reed, the backup linebacker, remember those games earlier this year against Lufkin and Trinity when a lot of players were hurt, and the time that Uzell and Bambry and Reed had a chance to play. Here's the snap, here's the kick, and it is good. Our score, 11-11 to go in the fourth quarter. Robert E. Lee 34, Berkner nothing. We're back in 60 seconds.
For the best treats and eats and hottest winning in Texas, you gotta go to DQ. Only DQ's got the classic 4-piece all-white chicken strip country basket served with fries, Texas toast, and the best green gravy anywhere for just $3.99. Only DQ's got a cool creamy banana split made with DQ soft serve for $1.99. And only DQ's got the peel away giveaway game where you can win food, treat prizes, or your chance to win a brand new Dodge Ram 1500 Lone Star Edition pickup.
Man, are we going to take every lap full speed?
Yeah!
Are we going to trade paint without fear?
Yeah!
Are we going to brush our hair 100 times a day and condition after every shampoo and choose the right hair color to match our skin tone? Tim?
Terry, I'm an autumn.
I'm a spring. Now let's go out there and win one!
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
In the game of life, there are no timeouts, only time wasted. The path you choose now determines your future. But where can you go to find a sense of purpose? There is a place where team spirit steps off the field and into the classroom, where no victory goes unnoticed, and there's no such thing as wasted time. That place is Tyler Junior College, living life in color, never black and white. Come to Tyler Junior College. We're changing the game. We're changing lives.
Here's a question. If you needed your insurance, who would you call? Not the name of the company, but the name of the person. You've got 2 seconds. Coming up blank, you may want to consider Allstate. You'd have a local agent you can count on, a licensed professional whose name you know, not just a number. You deserve a relationship with a real person.
For all your insurance needs, call the McIntyre Insurance Agency in the Albertson Shopping Center.
Don't forget, we've got the Dusty Rhodes Marine Player of the Game, thanks to Steve and Dusty and Mike at Dusty Rhodes Marine, Highway 155 South in Tyler, Highway 69, of course, in Longview. And speaking of Dusty Rhodes, here's Steve Rhodes on the sideline. Steve, you were right there with the scene of the crime.
Yeah, guys, I tell you what, Lee has done a great job at shutting down the 3 dimensions of Berkner's offense. They have no outside game, no inside game, and no passing game. And if you don't have one of those 3 in the wishbone, you're not going to win a ball game.
You know, if you can't go wide, you got to have a great fullback. If you don't have a great fullback, you can't go wide. And you talk to anybody about running the bone, Steve, you have to be able to have a presence in the middle.
Right, and Johnson, the last 3 pitches he's made, he should have just taken the hit and gone down, because none of those 3 pitches were going to be any good at all. There's too much pressure. Lee's too fast.
34-0. Robert E. Lee is blowing out Berkner on their home field, and there's 11 minutes and 11 seconds remaining. And it is so nice to see Trevor Reed, Bo Bambry, and Matt Uzell get in on the mix that time. We've talked about Lance Heap, another one who had a lot of quality time, Randy, early this year. Here's the kickoff from Johnson, and this is Mammon at about the 2. 5, 10, knocked down at the 20, and that was there's a holding call as well. 33, George Faber, who's had his second special teams play tonight, and this is also going to be a holding call, it appears, against the Berkner Rams, and it is, and that's going to knock them back, guess what, inside the 15 again.
Once again, just where they don't want to be, because they are just getting bludgeoned by Robert E. Lee, and that's one of the best terms you could use. They're getting whipped every which way along the line of scrimmage by the Lee defense and offense.
34-0. Robert E. Lee with 11 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. Adrian Beard and Jeremy Moore in the game now at the corner positions. Simmons is one of the defensive ends. Bambry, the middle linebacker. And Colby Ray, the other defensive end. This is an all-second team. Nick Mitchell's in. He and Heap always rotate quite a bit as Berkner from their 11. They run the option to the near side. Johnson tries to get wide. He pitches it out of bounds. And it's back inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. He got about 2. And we were told, Randy, and I was able to visit with the Lee coaching staff Wednesday, and they showed me film of their game with Skyline. He is unafraid of pitching the ball anywhere on the field.
Well, he's just a sophomore, and he's going to learn when to keep it and tuck it, and he probably would have had an 8 or 9 yard gain had he just held on to the ball. I mean, he makes a pitch, and it's horrendously pitched, and his own fans are gasping at that one. And fortunately for him, it went out of bounds for Lee to scoop it up.
It had momentum as he was pitching it to go out of bounds. You're right, otherwise it could be another defensive touchdown. Receiver split wide is Moss on 2nd down and 8. Johnson, slant pattern, nobody there. Swing pass, incomplete, and that may be a loose ball. And I think it is back inside the 10-yard line. And that was a pass intended for Wesley Scouten, who has 2 catches for a touchdown this year. Matt Uzel was there, and another loss of 5 yards.
That's the 15th offensive play by my count tonight for Berkner that's been negative yardages. Lee is it's going to be pretty frightening at the end of the game to see the total yardage if Berkner doesn't get some kind of gain here in a moment.
34-0, and if he a third, not only the field position has been a nightmare for Berkner, they have started numerous drives inside their 20. And as Randy said, they have one negative play after another. 10-12 to go. They run the fullback, Jackson, for maybe 3, and that is it outside the 10 to the 11-yard line. And Lee's defense, their second teamers, who got so much quality time. We mentioned this during Trinity, Lufkin, and others. I mean, against Rockwall. Remember, DeHaven had the ankle sprain. Skates had the hip pointer. Stripling had the shoulder problem. And others were hurt too. And all these guys, Van Zandt had the tender knee. And these players, that quality time has come back to be big time right now.
Well, you have half a dozen players that got all this time on the field, and it's a reflection of what's happening right now in the last 2 weeks.
9:30 to go. Kugler back to punt, their only bright spot in this game. You're exactly right. Here comes pressure. He punts it end over end, and Bush will field it at the Berkner 47. Now at the 45, cuts it outside and trying to get wide and drag down at the 40 to the 39 to the 38-yard line. Nice coverage by Josh Moss. But Robert E. Lee with their umpteenth drive in Berkner territory. 36-yard punt, 10-yard return from Tony. And Robert E. Lee has the football again in great position.
Yeah, and we'll probably see the benches being emptied now by Coach Owens and company. And, here comes Preston Hill to quarterback the rest of the way.
Preston Hill, the junior, 6'1", 178, the heir apparent to his brother, and a guy that had some huge minutes last year, D'Angelo Jones in at wide receiver. I think you'll see the starting offensive line remain where it is, and it does. Fleet, the tight end, and Jason the Hammer Williams, the tailback. He takes the stretch play off right tackle and loses a yard, and here's a flag down right at the feet of the junior Andrew Bailey. Frankie Ford made the stop, and Williams lost a yard, but maybe a holding call as well.
I don't know why Ford hadn't been in more, because he is a player. He just gets in the backfield very quickly and gets Jason Williams just after he gets the handoff on the stretch play, and it looks like it's going to be a hold against Robert E. Lee.
Hey, by the way, also a new member of the offensive line. We talked about Sam Banks going both ways. Bo Bambry got a lot of snaps this week because of the concussion to starting right tackle Matt Holland. And Bo Bambry is playing on the offensive line right now, probably at left guard to give Sam Banks a little breather because he's been going a little bit both ways. Bambry again as strong as you can be. And it's now 1st and 20 on the holding call. Lee, clock runs with 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Lone setback Williams, and Preston Hill will throw. Sets up, pass caught, and dropped. Jonah Murphy would have had close to 15 yards and would have had his first varsity catch, and he just couldn't come out with the grab. He was wide open. It's now 2nd down and 20, and Jonah wants to get that one again.
Oh, that's a great play call by Robert E. Lee and Coach Dow and Coach Owens. He's so wide open, he took his eye off the ball and started running up the field and bobbled it a couple times before he finally dropped it, but no one there to cover him as they're blitzing up the middle still for Berkner.
8:59 remaining, fourth quarter. 34-0, Robert E. Lee with a 2nd and 20 at the 48 of Berkner. Here comes Hill to throw it. He's under pressure, and he's going to be sacked. And you know what? This kid, Chad Kugler, remember now, he started the year as the quarterback. He had mono, and he's now one heck of a linebacker. He has made a bunch of plays. He's about the only one that has. A loss of 8 yards on the sack to Preston Hill.
Yeah, he's shooting the gaps on nearly every call as Coach Ledford still wants him to be aggressive on defense. Now, they've been burned a time or two when he's done that, but he's able to get to Preston Hill this time and sack him for a loss of 8.
He is, he's got some big old guns on him, too. 6'2", 215. He picked off a pass earlier this year for a touchdown, and he got his second sack of this game. He's also got a blocked extra point. Here's the draw play to Jason Williams, bounces it outside. No, he doesn't. Runs into the arms of Ugo Chanasi on 3rd and long, and Jason got a couple of 3 yards, and Robert E. Lee will punt the ball with 8:05 to go in this game and safely ahead 34-0.
Well, he just gets over that time with Ugo Chanasi making a nice read on the delay handoff to Jason Williams. It gets outside and ropes him down for a short gain of 3.
And you might say, again, that Lee pretty much just trying to run this thing all they can. They were going to try to throw a couple of safe passes. The one to Murphy would have been good for about 10 or 15 to the tight end. Josh Hill back into punt. Back inside is 35. Snap from Giles. No pressure. Gets it off very high. Johnson will field it at the 23-yard line. One of the best starting field positions for this Berkner Rams team. 35-yard punt by Josh Hill. No return. And in a moment, after maybe another minute or two off the clock, we'll start to talk about the possibility of what Lee will see if they hold on here tonight. And after looking back 10 years ago, JT and Plano East, just because of that, sometimes I wonder, but you got to be careful. You never know. It's high school football. But what Lee has coming up, if they hold on to this game, and right now it's total obliteration, 34-0. Because there could be a little rematch coming up down the pipeline. Johnson runs the option, gets away from the first. Here's a flag. It's a holding call, and he turns the corner. And he will be pitching deep to Knox down the sideline. But there are 2 flags and 2 holding calls, it looks like, coming back. And Knox again takes the pitch 20 yards downfield from Justin Johnson, who is just absolutely kind of fun to watch with those pitches. Rather dangerous as well. But that comes when you're so young you don't know any better. But holding against Berkner is coming back, and that's why he turned the corner.
Well, had he kept the ball, he would have gotten a gain of 25 yards. But once he makes that pitch to the secondary back, he loses all credit of yardage gain for whatever purpose it holds. But, that is quite risky, and that's something that they'll coach out of him because he's going to start 2 more years for Coach Ledford in this program.
Holding and a personal foul against Berkner. So there were 2 penalty flags. One of them is a holding call, and the other one is a personal foul. The holding call would be a 10-yard mark off. The personal foul would be half the distance from the 22 to the 11. Holding is declined. Personal foul, clipping is accepted. 15. And that will mark Berkner back down to about the 11 or 12-yard line with 7:18 to go, 34-0 lead.
They're slowly mounting up. 5 penalties now for about 50 yards for Berkner and 5 for 45 for Lee.
Robert E. Lee, Randy Huffstickler, defensive coordinator, assistant head coach Jay Law, defensive ends coach is Willie Williams, defensive tackles coach Jerry Reed, and has he put together a nice little clump of McKenzie, Lacey, Osborne, McLean, and Banks. Here is the wingback reverse to Knox, and he runs right into Lance Heap for maybe 2 or 3. Spun away from Heap, but ran right into a heap of people and fell down. Reed was there, and so was Faber. So Williams, the defensive ends coach. Tackles coach is Jerry Reed. Jay Law handles the linebackers. And the secondary is Randy Huffstickler.
Well, Lee makes a superb play again as Heap reads the play and gets past the moving right guard coming off to block him. That's Laribas, and he misses the block, and Heap makes the tackle.
2nd and 16, Berkner from their 17-yard line. Mamet in motion. They run the wishbone option. Knox tries to go outside, and Lance Heap is there. Matt Uzel is there, and so is George Faber again. And he got a yard He did not get a yard. He's knocked down at the 17.
More valuable experience is 3 or 4 white shirts are there to greet him right after he gets the pitch, and he's getting the pitch 5 or 6 yards back in his own backfield and has to get up ahead of steam, but he just can't get back to the line of scrimmage because Lee is just way too fast on the recovery.
I have them now for 1 yard rushing. Now, again, we're trying to write all these things down while we're worried about the broadcast, but I have them right now total for, I think, either -1 or 1 yard total rushing yardage in this game. They're averaging nearly 280. Here is Johnson. Play action, wants to throw, looks for a receiver, little pass to the tight end for a couple of shots. You know, what a great job defensively right there on the tackle. George Faber, Colby Ray, Lance Heap, and he got 6 yards, and that is it. It's 3rd down, now 4th down and 15.
Well, Lee answers the call. They even defend very well against the pass when an obvious passing down comes about for Berkner, and no way to get down deep downfield for Johnson, the quarterback, but he finds a safety valve to pick up a short gain.
They have 1 yard, Randy, 1 yard from our stat sheet, 1 yard rushing, and 20 yards passing. Lance Heap makes another stop. Punting is Kugler. Back deep is Tony Bush, the electrifying 97-yarder. Remember, here's a flag down, and it looked like movement. And, you know, when I got the depth chart from Coach Ledford, and I think it's fair to say that Berkner is right now, in a way, kind of where Lee was with Mike Owens in about the 2nd year of his program. They had not made the playoffs since '90. His first year, first 3 years, very, very tough. And then they make the playoffs last year, lose in the 1st round. And then this year, they're in the 2nd round. First time they've been in the 2nd round since '90, and only the 2nd time ever. So, Randy, they're trying to gain something, but they have got to look at this and go, wow. They got a lot of players back next year, but they got to go, wow. What train wreck did we have? There's a railroad track. Here's a low snap, and Kugler gets it off. End-over-end kick that hits out of bounds at about the Berkner 46-yard line. And you have a drive chart.
I've got a little one going here.
I guarantee you this is the 6th, 7th, or 8th drive that Lee has had.
Let's see.
That starts in Berkner territory.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th drive. You're right on the money. The 6th drive.
The first drive started at their 49. The next one was in Berkner territory. They didn't even score on those drives. And they haven't always scored, but what they've done is they've been able to punch it down inside Berkner's 10 or 15 when they have had to punt the football. From the 46, they run the fullback, Brad Royal. Gets a couple of yards out, down inside the 45. Jared Lund, the junior middle linebacker, is there as the clock runs down inside 6 minutes on the next snap. Royal, the senior, has 21 carries for 102 yards and a score this year.
It's probable that Mike just wants to go ahead and get this game over with this nice solid lead and the shutout intact to go ahead and get his team on off the field. We'll see, hopefully, well, they may put the ball in there, but they'll probably just keep it on the ground here this drive.
Well, and I talked to Mike one time about his teams can score, as we know, at any moment. But I asked him about, you don't put up the 50s and the 60s like you see with some of these spread offenses. I'll tell you what he told me in just a moment. 2nd down and 8. Preston Hill, Jason Williams, right tackle, tripped up, and he's been tripped up a couple of times tonight, got 4 yards. He was at Port Arthur Jefferson, the team that played for the state championship, and he told me that they had a game, and the coach at the time, which was Ronnie Thompson, put a kid in for some reason. It was like a 1st or 2nd round playoff game. It might have been the end of the district, I'm not sure, because they were trying to drill a team, kind of a rival, and the player got hurt, and it may have cost them. They lost to Permian in the state championship game, and they could really have used him throughout the playoffs. And Mike said, ever since that time, David, I've always had, get it over with and move on to the next round. 3rd and 5 after Williams got 4. This is Brad Royal, close to a 1st down, just shy at about the 37-yard line. Steve, you've been on the field. You've seen the speed of Lee. Impressed with what you've seen tonight compared to maybe what you saw earlier this year?
Their the first and second team, there's no difference. They play as hard as one of the other does, but it's just incredible how much speed they have.
I think that Mesquite winning tonight against Carter is kind of a little note, trying to check that off. They beat Carter. Lee is rolling past Berkner. Lufkin plays against Pflugerville. We still love them, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
in our own way.
Well, okay, in our own little way, because they're kind of like your,
They're still Lufkin.
it's kind of like your long-lost uncle. Here's the fullback. Royal, he will not make it on 4th down, and then you got Longview playing Jesuit, and you think those two teams advance as well, and that big, that evil thing that grows in East Texas just keeps on, the heartbeat continues, and
it just keeps growing and growing and just
and
exploding.
teams like, it's like this thing that just monstrosity developing, and it all started, don't you guys? You had the Marshalls in the early 90s,
yeah,
the
John
JTs throughout the 90s. You had Lee in the late 90s develop. Then you had Longview in 97. Then you had the Lufkin Nation start. And think about it, I think it's just given everybody a right, and it kind of raised everybody's level, right?
And think about the 3As and the 4As in East Texas. We're just talking about 5A, but there's dominant programs in East Texas in 3A and 4A.
Berkner now from their 37-yard line, and they're going, wow, we're getting close. What is that thing called midfield? Johnson runs the outside pitch, pitches it wide, and what a nice catch by number 8. That is Brandon Pottas, and he got about 4 or 5 yards out to the 43-yard line, and it's 2nd down and 5 with 3:45 to go. We will name, now Steve, I'm going to put you on the spot here. There are 4 or 5 guys who have had an unbelievable game. Well, the entire defense has. But there's 3 or 4 names in particular. In the next break, I want to talk about it with you when it comes to the Dusty Rose Marine Player of the Game. All right? You may have to get that signature going more than once, okay? 35, here's the option to the fullback, and Jackson met right there by a swarm of Lee defenders. Hey, by the way, first time we've called 48. That is Chris Eichner. Nope, I checked it. I'm looking at the wrong place. The 48 is Tyler Owens. Oh, that's great. What do I do? I mispronounced the one guy that's Mike Owens' son. That's great, Smokey.
Way to go, but he makes a nice tackle and wraps up.
And, of course, one of a billion Tylers named on the coaching staff. It's 3rd and 4 after Jackson got nothing. Snap to Johnson, swing pass outside and lost 5. Trevor the Animal Reed. And here's a flag down at the end of the play. And Steve Rhodes was right there. I think Mamet got a little upset.
Yeah, he got a little upset and threw a guy on the ground. They're going to tag 15 on him for that.
Now they've lost their composure. And, Lee's just trying to say, hey, guys, let's let this clock run. We have won this game. We're worried about the next round. And the next round will be the winner of the Woodlands game against Round Rock McNeil tomorrow, 1 o'clock in Waco. And then Lee will play that winner next Saturday, from what we've been told, at 1 o'clock at Waco ISD. Here's a loss of 5 on the swing pass, which is kind of like, Randy, it's kind of like
going backwards.
Chunk it, and then 15 more after the play.
He almost dropped it, and that was a lateral, and he had 2 white shirts in his face to boot, and Lee's just sealing up each side, each corner, up the middle. They're just whipping Berkner tonight, and it's been an awesome defensive display.
One of the most dominating defensive performances that I think I've seen. I've been doing Lee since 91, and this is one of the most dominating defensive performances I've seen them have. Non-district, district, playoff, anything. 2:50 to go, the clock runs, and Kugler's back to punt, and he's got to soak that right foot. Takes the snap, gets it off in a nice high, almost Australian rules football type punt that hits at the Lee 40, and Lee's got to be careful to get away from it, and they do. Back inside the 35 to the 33, and that's where the Red Raiders take over with 2:31 to go in the game. Okay, let's talk about the possibility that next week it could be the Woodlands. They're probably the favorite. They're 9-2. They're 2 losses to Galena Park, North Shore, and Lufkin, who they lost to at home. That is something that the Red Raiders would love to have that opportunity to avenge last year's triple overtime loss at Texas Stadium.
Well, a few Lufkin fans, from what I've read posted along the internet, say that Lee is the most impressive opponent they've had all year, and that would take into account the Woodlands too. So we're going to have a nice battle nonetheless either way if the Woodlands can come through tomorrow.
Kugler unofficially has punted 9 times in this game. Here's a flag down as Lee tries to just run out the clock, and this will cost most likely Robert E. Lee 5 yards. This has been a very impressive showing. And again, we wish Longview and Lufkin the best of luck tomorrow in their games. as the East Texas, that little monster keeps on just breathing along, doesn't it, Steve?
Boy, it does, David. It's amazing. I mean, it's, you know, the possibility exists, and it's a very real possibility that both divisions in 5A could have state champions out of this district.
Well, that wouldn't be bad. That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? And here comes Lee now, and Preston Hill takes his bootleg and cuts it across the field, and we'll get a yard or two. No, he won't. Maybe not give him a yard, as they're just running out the clock. I tell you what, let's talk about this. As the clock is running, 2:15 to go, 34-0 Lee, and they're just trying to waste the clock. It's 3rd and 14. Guys, there are 3 or 4 names that I would like to submit, and you all talk amongst yourselves. I think 4 people are worthy of the player of the game tonight. Now, Steve, I'm not asking you to write a $200 check. But I think, and Steve, you're up now, and I'll get Kerry Ainsworth in it too. Kerry's here. Ricky Sherfield and Cordero Mumphrey, the defensive ends, have been huge. Quet Nicholson has been huge. We know Reed has been good but also, I tell you what, Lance Heap has played very well, number 5. Here's a little trap up the gut for about 3. So let's talk amongst ourselves. We're all in the air.
Well, I'll throw my 2 cents in. I'm good at that. I'm going to have to go, if I had to pick one of that, and I'd say we pick 2 tonight. I think that's fair. Dusty will write that check. I'd go with Ricky Sherfield because he was so dominant in the early part of the game. He really set the tone for that defense early on.
All right, I think the 2 defensive ends should get it. Now, Kerry, you disagree.
Well, I think Lance Heap, he's been all over the field, made several tackles, either he or LaQuette Nicholson, because those 2 corners.
I'll tell you what, let's get this play. 3rd and 10 Lee at their 33. Under a minute to go in the game. This is Williams off right tackle, not much there. This is what we're going to do. Dusty Rhodes Marines, player of the game. Steve, you guys give a $50 check in the name of Cordero Mumphrey and Ricky Sherfield. Okay. KTBB will put it in the names of 2, Lance Heap and Quet Nicholson.
Sounds great.
All right?
Those 4 just.
And that money is all going to the Scholastic All-Stars program and those great student athletes. And there are many others. Guys, we could pick anybody.
Now, you know what I was fixing to say, David? It's a nice problem to have when you can't figure out who your player of the game is.
Yeah, because that's not always the case. You know, sometimes you got to kind of look around and go, okay, wait a minute. Lee will punt as the clock is inside 20 seconds. Kerry, go kill a deer. All right? Bring back some of that venison, okay? We got to cook some of those Bama beans.
You bet.
4th down, and Lee will let it go down to 5 seconds. Yep, that's what I'm saying. And so they'll just take a penalty here, then they'll pooch it. And the winner of Round Rock McNeil and the Woodlands will be next. Hey, I tell you what, come here. Hold on just a second. 5 seconds to go in the game. We'll get Mike Owens in a minute, but we got a special guest here in the booth. Dow Wynn, the offensive coordinator, and the passing coordinator as well, is on up here in the booth. Dow, I know you guys were upset about a couple of things right before the end of the half as Lee punted to close it out. It's blocked. The shutout is in jeopardy. And it's going to be recovered for a safety, and they're going to bust the shutout. No, it's a touchdown. 34-6 in a block punt. There have been all sorts of block kicks. We're going to get to Mike Owens in a moment because they do get to kick the extra point. Dow, offensively, you guys just took care of business tonight.
I'm never going to put this headset on again because you see what happens when I do, and that's what I was upset about at the half of our kicking game, and we're definitely going to work on that. Our defense played great, and they deserve to have a shutout, and I just feel real bad for our defensive guys. Our defensive staff just did a tremendous job, and it's a shame to see it end like that. But,
and
we may go back tonight and work on it.
All right, quarterfinals for the 3rd consecutive year.
Well, I think that's a compliment to the program, and we're looking forward to it, and hopefully it'll turn out different than it did last year. I think Game of the Year is what Fox called it, so maybe it'll go our way.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.
That's offensive coordinator Dow Wynn. Steve Rhodes with Lee head football coach Mike Owens as Robert E. Lee wins it 34-6. A block punt at the end of the game, costing Lee the shutout. And Steve, Mike will do it now, and we'll go straight down to you at midfield. 34-6 the final, Robert E. Lee.
Coach, congratulations on a great win. Does it seem like this team just continues to get towards a peak? They get a little better every game.
Well, I think defense played real well in the second half, and then, of course, offensively we didn't have the ball very much, but we didn't do much with it either. But I'm just glad we're done with this, and I hope we don't have any serious injuries.
Is anybody bunged up? See, it looked like everybody came out pretty good.
Well, we've got some people beat up pretty good right now, but we'll have to wait and see next week. We get an extra day to heal, I hope.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on the win.
All right, Steve. Thanks, Mike Owens. We appreciate it. Final score, Robert E. Lee 34 and Berkner 6. Boy, that goose egg, that's unfortunate. Final 34-6, Robert E. Lee back with our postgame on News Talk 600 KTBB.
Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Represent your team like never before. On the field, on the court, it's all in our store. The spirit of your team, the season of your dreams. Looking for the victory, we've got what you need. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics. Your one-stop sports shop, Tyler Athletics.
Men, I think our racing team needs to reflect our Supercut sponsorship. So, make some changes. First off, we're going to go to clear helmets so racing fans can see your fine Supercut hair.
Those are made out of glass.
Y'all be careful. Second, uniform change.
How are we supposed to drive? There's no armholes.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but we're working on that.
Man, I'm out of here.
Fellas,
you're out of your mind. That's not
where you going?
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.
Can you drive a stick?
To see this sign on your house, put this sign out front. Century 21 Advantage. Call or visit our website.
Thanks for watching High School Football. Presented by TISD and Cox Communications of Tyler. Brought to you by Dairy Queen and Supercuts. Also brought to you by these sponsors.
Man, are we going to take every lap full speed?
Yeah!
Are we going to trade paint without fear?
Yeah!
Are we going to brush our hair 100 times a day and condition after every shampoo and choose the right hair color to match our skin tone? Tim?
Terry, I'm an autumn.
I'm a spring. Now let's go out there and win one!
Supercuts, proud sponsor of Fitz Bradshaw Racing.